21. Here's Johnson. Again guarded by Meshack. Tough shot. Dubar the rebound. Larry can't get the shot off over Lanier. Now Kent. Now Johnson. And he's on the board.
With 2 players. We got fouled right there. It just didn't get called.
Shedrick gives it back to him. Deep in the corner. Again, he will take shots that few others cannot get rid of Meshack. He's trying. Somehow got it off and hits. Wow. How much effort went into that?
And look.
Moving without the ball, trying to get free. Here he is.
A great job by Gainey.
Look at these shots, though, they're forcing him into. A tough one, and he's capable of hitting them, but not that time. And no, all 5 of his attempts have been a lot of hard work just to get them. Like this one. Weak side rebound, Shedrick, and he's fouled. It'll be on Miller. Screened by Kent to get the switch. Ziegler on Johnson. In and out. Come on, guys.
Yeah, that was a miss.
Johnson, another tough shot. The 3 won't go. Tipped by Shedrick. 10 seconds
in College Station.
Yeah, his next point will get him to 2,000 in his career. A 4-year player in College Station. Johnson has deep range, misses that. He's going to get another crack at it. In rotation roles have left this program. A lot of continuity at the high major level for Buzz Williams. A block by Obaseki.
Obaseki did not give an inch on that.
And here come the horns.
You're always going to see Texas A&M with 3 guys going to the offensive glass at least.
A little bit strong in the fadeaway by Johnson. And back comes Taylor. 2 for 19 from 3. They won. In the game where they went 12 for 23, they lost.
Well, they can't offensive rebound the makes.
That's true. A tough shot for Trey Johnson. Has had a great year. A lot of big wins. Johnson a threat from anywhere, including there, and he gets it to go.
Well, Zurich Phelps fouled us, but I don't think you're going to see many blockout fouls that are called. So you got to go lay somebody out.
Well, right now, Rodney Terry's got to be thrilled because A&M has 1 offensive rebound in 12.
That shot by Johnson.
Crossover by Taylor. Too strong off the glass, and Texas in transition. Johnson left it short, and back come the Aggies. Great defensive play by Kent. Just sniffed it out.
Yeah, and he just threw Payne right out of the way. Used his momentum against him.
Johnson a miss from 3. Garcia the rebound.
A what? That's a foul.
Yeah, bump there by Garcia. No call. Johnson can't finish. Here comes Taylor. Coleman finds Mark in the corner. Good defense by Garcia. Now it's Johnson. Rebound Obaseki, and the Aggies are running.
Boy, they really forced.
Trying to dribble out of trouble. Finds Kaluma.
Good help by Zurich Phelps.
Johnson underneath to lay it in.
And how about that presence to just back up when he
stops on a dime, spins and misses. Weaver the rebound. Johnson pulls up in transition. And he knew it. Another one where he's going back down the backing for the Longhorns, who, by the way, this is only their 4th game all year where everybody has been healthy. Off the glass, beautiful touch by Johnson.
Well, Texas A&M essentially been resolute in running their offense and getting what they want. And really attacking switches.
Johnson
fake.
Freed himself for a 3, and he is heating up.
Just penetrating, making 2 play 1, and then play out of it. Just have to be smart with pass fakes.
Johnson, short. Knocked around.
And look what happened there. That wound up being a very good decision.
Johnson the crossover, off balance, off the side of the backboard. Here comes Taylor. Shedrick a little slow getting back into the play and grimacing a bit coming up the court. Look at this one. Way deep for Johnson, and Carter skies for the rebound. The screen by Shedrick. The three by Johnson. The rebound to Garcia. It's Johnson initiating the play now.
Got the switch, so he's going against Coleman.
Gets it off, can't hit it, and the rebound comes down to Payne, and he's in 11 years. Johnson over Coleman, he hits.
Just the step back in the corner.
He was coming to the game with Mark fouling out. Pope somehow gets it to Johnson, who hits. What a play. About the Vanderbilt offense.
I think they do a great job of setting staggers and high ball screens, and they play out of it very well. Very smart players.
There's Trey Johnson. He can beat you outside. He can beat you.
And their efficiency much higher when he's on the floor because he draws so much attention.
Magnon given the initial assignment of trying to guard Johnson. And the step back three won't go. And Vandy missing some good open looks from beyond the arc.
Yeah, that was a good three to take.
Johnson will try one.
Every shot he takes is a good shot.
Point range. Johnson, tough shot, in and out. Kent, the weak side rebound, and he's fouled.
Smart player.
Carey sits with 6:51 to go. McLaughlin takes his place. Shedrick to a cutting Johnson, blocked by McLaughlin. Still Texas ball.
Shot off that wide pin.
Almost skidded to a stop. Couldn't get his feet underneath him. Now he'll take it. And hit it. Boy, a tough shot on the move. And Jay, he's both Pope and Larry on the bench for several minutes. Johnson, oh boy. McLaughlin down with the rebound. 10 to shoot, 12 on the game clock. Here's Johnson. Hits. Trey Johnson with another tough shot. He's got inside 10 on the shot clock already. The Longhorns haven't gotten anything going yet on this trip. Johnson will put up a three. Magnon tips it to himself, and here he comes. Edwards with a tough jumper. And back come the Longhorns.
The shots aren't coming in a way where Vanderbilt can get offensive rebounds, and that's leading to transition.
What a finish by Johnson. He got
here in this league. And Johni Broome, little doubt he would be player of the year.
Johnson baseline, good defense by Magnon, and he brings down the rebound as well.
You can attack in the corners.
Kaluma, 5 to shoot. Back out. Johnson's got to make something happen, and he hits the three.
Boy, you take a gamble. And
Nashville, Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, Jess Sims, Texas, and Vanderbilt. A very big game for both, probably more so for the Longhorns, as Johnson is open in the corner and hits the three. Johnson wants everybody to get out of the way so he can go one-on-one.
Just back him down, turn, shoot over.
Didn't get the shot. Got a pretty good look. Magnon to the deck.
You know, Vanderbilt works their tails off to get the ball. And they have a wide open three and can't capitalize.
Johnson smothered. Blocked by McLaughlin. Out of bounds still as a 10 and seemingly safely in the field. He had Texas on the outside looking in. One of the first 4 out. Big game for both teams. Needless to say, it rattles out on Johnson
with his hands down.
And now Edwards slips, and that results in a turnover. Johnson is wide open as he'll ever be. Misses the three. Pope, great hustle to run it down, and then he finds Mark. Johnson. Rebound to McLaughlin. It's the freshman, Trey Johnson. Deep in the corner, misses the three. Magnon the rebound.
Than his position usually because of the injury situation for Oklahoma.
Johnson picked up by Goodine. The floater, too strong. Onyema on the offensive glass and a fresh 20. Johnson for three, no. His first 2 shots are errant. Kobe Elvin.
And great length.
Virginia transfer. Here's Johnson, a quick breather. The turnaround, and Trey Johnson off the mark again. Shedrick gets it back. Floats it out against Johnson.
Great defense.
Johnson a steal. Advantage there for Trey Johnson, the 2 lottery picks. Missed the dunk on the alley-oop. Here's Fears 1-on-2 to shoot for Trey Johnson. Picked up by Fears. Mano a mano. The lob. And Cody unable to corral it. Onyema lost it out of bounds. Horns can go 2 for 1 if they hurry. Johnson sensing that, comes up short, tapped out, back to OU.
Yeah, he got decision on time.
McGee and Goodine both with 3 fouls, currently on Porter Moser's bench. 1-point lead for the Sooners. Johnson still without a field goal.
He loves that. Duke Miles a tough kid, right? He starts the game off, just that intensity, defensive side. We can see a zone here by Oklahoma.
Johnson, no. Remember, it was Duke Miles just...
There's where they're set up at. That's that handoff right there going to his left.
Johnson off the back iron, and Fears was tapped on the face by... The lead at 5. Johnson somehow got it back. Still without a field goal. Poked out of bounds. It'll stay here. High ball screen for Trey Johnson. Step back 3. Fears clears. Trey Johnson stop and pop. Kaluma came right to him, fouled. Here's Pope. Now Johnson. Trey Johnson. Missed the runner. Out of bounds.
And on the road. Free throw line could be a lonely place. Jeremiah Fears.
Trey Johnson for 3. Pope on the offensive glass. Contested.
But no question, they are a much significant improved team offensively.
Turnover by Hubbard. Here comes Johnson. And Trey Johnson rejected. And a late whistle for Murphy. Stolen by Kent.
That wasn't there.
Johnson, the deep triple. Yes. Trey Johnson, an early 3.
And other things impacting winning. A couple of steals, a couple of blocks.
Prior to Johnson, contested mid-range, no. And Josh Hubbard with a rebound.
It's organized.
Shot clock at 10, deep 3. Johnson, not this time. Here's the leading scorer in the SEC, and he shows you why. Trey Johnson.
Does he ever get, don't worry about getting it blocked.
Jones missed a layup on the other end.
Numbers. Yes, sir, right there.
1-point game, Trey Johnson from distance. He's now in double air ball. 90 seconds remaining in the half. Texas can regain the lead, and Johnson is bothered by Murphy. Kaluma gets it back. Even the pass, makes 2 free throws. That's a bucket.
You're on board.
I am.
Begrudgingly, I can tell.
No, I'm fully on board. Trey Johnson off the mark. Kent active.
Than anybody else. Auburn this year has won games in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Ask Houston, Iowa State,
Watch
and a
out.
host of others. Here comes first made field goal for Josh Hubbard, leading scorer for Mississippi State. Comes at the 13-minute mark of the second half. Johnson is short. Here's Harris Jr. Down to 4. Johnson off the screen. Connects. Trey Johnson, another 3. Trey Johnson contested 3, and he drains it.
Sidestep.
It has amped up the intensity in our last 5 minutes now in overtime. Johnson gets it back. Kaluma on the offensive board. 1 possession game, halfway home in overtime number 1. Johnson for the lead. Drains it.
I love the down script.
Picked up by Matthews. What a matchup here. Freshman versus senior. And Kugel. An important point for you to make there. Otherwise, that's a violation. Johnson, the runner. In and out, and the stop by Shedrick.
Impressive.
His minutes have been down the last 3 games, but they know the talent that he is. Johnson comes up short. That was his first field goal attempt. Stilson needs to as well. Surreal threw it away looking for Abson. 10 combined turnovers, only 6 combined buckets. Johnson's got a chance at 3.
I love players flop now. You give the officials a reason to make the call when you fight for position.
Johnson got his own miss. Kent the loose ball, right back up. And they've controlled it in that regard. Meantime, Texas got the offensive rebound from Arthur Kaluma. Johnson on the baseline, his second
Trey
bucket.
time, man. It's Trey time. Look, on
260 pounds, the freshman from Nigeria. Let's see if Johnson can get rolling here on a step back. Triple for Trey.
Go to work, young fella. You know what time it is.
AP top 25 opponents, 8 games against top 10 teams. So 17 and 11, 5 and 10, they don't really tell the full story.
Sure, I would agree with that wholeheartedly. I mean, it's
To work with on the shot clock.
you got time to answer, though, if you're Texas.
4 seconds, Trey Johnson behind the backs. Fall away, no good. And that does it for a...
They're missing 15 points and 6 boards a game. He suffered a knee injury. His return won't come tonight. Trey Johnson in transition. That guy can get going in a hurry. Knocking. Couldn't finish over Jordan Pope. Hot start for both of these teams. Trey Johnson hit an early 3, and here he is for a 2. And a Texas team, Ron Slade, trying desperately.
A little lethargic coming out against South Carolina. Defensively, they're picking it up with active hands against Arkansas early, and Trey Johnson.
And transition left it short into the hands of Uvicic. Johnson already had Jordan Pope back into the starting lineup for Texas after Julian Larry had started the previous 5 at point guard. Hard screen, Trey Johnson mid-range. And a rebound off. Pope fights around the double. They swing it to Trey Johnson. Can't leave him open, but they lost the best scorer in the league, his second 3. Texas has started this game just 3 for 10. Trey Johnson coming off of a 29-point performance. Gets to the rack, but it won't go. And then Kent with the rebound. Back to Trey Johnson. Johnson down the stretch. Misses at the rim. Here's DJ Wagner. 1/2 points a game, nearly 2 assists per contest. Or probably better than 5 assists per contest. They sold him way short. Johnson deep from the hash. What? Trey Johnson says, okay, I'll take it. And it goes right by Wagner.
And that was the first time all game that there was no one.
Trey Johnson. Guarded by Richmond. With 3 on the clock. Off balance. Couldn't find the rim. Rebound by Adu. And that's how the half will come. Wow. Rejected by Shedrick. Oh, Mark got hammered. Tremont Mark is down at the top of the key. That dunk by Johnson was no good. And will stop play finally. Typically at Kentucky, loaded with freshmen.
Right.
Who then become much better towards the end of the season when they spend some time together and they're able to blossom. That's the first bucket of the second half for Trey.
Cal was demonstrating you can't play like a mummy. He did a mummy walk to Big Z. That was beautiful right there.
Oh, wow. Where's our coach Cal Camp?
Wow.
Trey Johnson. He's got 15, lead 9 from 3 with multiple air balls. I made the comp earlier of a defensive back. Here's Trey Johnson off the screen, and he answers with a 3. He's now playing for Illinois, and he's classified as a sophomore despite not having played last year. Johnson, follow.
Nice.
Great patience by Shedrick not to get it when it was on the rim.
Good job. When you get right there, get 2 feet in the paint, you go straight up and over.
There's Trey Johnson on the handoff. Got a step on Knox. Kaluma on the offensive glass, fouled and going back to the. Shedrick wins this battle. Push ahead to Trey Johnson. He wants to shoot it. Got it! Trey Johnson can take over a game, and he's starting.
Texas going back to the well on the curl, the down curl.
And Trey Johnson loving it. Got it to go! And Texas in front for the ISO. Carmelo torched Texas in the Final Four with this play. Turnaround, fadeaway. Off the mark, and Ivisic has it. Shot clock is at 69. Here's Trey Johnson. 4 to play across midcourt. Got the screen. 2-1 floater. Followed. Jam won't count. It came after the buzzer. Well, now you got a mismatch with Brazil. Help came from Davis. Trey Johnson pulls from 3. He is something special. It's a. And now they got some size with a 6'6" Knox on him. A finish no matter what. 32-point play in overtime number 1.
The screen and the re-screen coming right here. Nice quick hitter for
Trey Johnson all alone. And rebounded by Rich. 16, 8-0 Arkansas 1, and a 2-possession lead. Trey Johnson with a half step and a finish. A career high 34 for the freshman. Last gasp for Texas. 20 seconds to play, down 5. Johnson step back 3. Of course he did. Wow. And Rodney Terry with a quick timeout. Doodle cash. 4-point Arkansas lead. Trey Johnson, just for good measure, reverses it in. 7.3 remaining.
Without Thero, it's humongous for this team moving forward.
Trey Johnson fires. He's already got the Texas freshman scoring record. But Arkansas.
Jordan Pope, and the offense has flowed a little bit better, Coach, with Larry in that starting 5 and Pope coming off the bench. Trey Johnson off the side rim. Murray Boyles poked out of bounds. Line is going to try to lock you down defensively. The question is, do they have the firepower to stay with Texas tonight? And Trey Johnson, case in point.
Without question, but that's not the way Texas wants to live, as easy as possible, so that every shot doesn't have to be a tough shot.
Johnson coming off a career-high 32 against Kentucky. Settled for the 3, and it's too strong. New opportunity, if you want to call it that, tonight on the road. Here's Trey Johnson, picked up by the 7-footer, and Johnson. Not this time.
South Carolina, you should be operating around the top of the key to make short leads and make passes easier.
Trey Johnson, the pump fake, springs free off the back iron. Tracked down by Pryor and a fresh 20. Johnson for 3. Yes.
That's the open looks that first round pick, and I'm going to take you, then you go. If they don't say that, especially with NIL, it makes a lot of sense of coming back and honing your skills and getting better and being put in that.
Lead back to 10. Johnson with 7 on the attack. Tried to sneak it past Butler. Couldn't do it.
But that's one of those tough shots. Yeah. You work hard in the dark to shine in the light.
Oh, I love it. That's good. Johnson for 3. Butler skies for the rebound. Again by Shedrick. And the Horns on the move. Little shake and bake from Trey Johnson, up and in.
That was not an easy shot. That was one of those tough shots.
Johnson and Duss. Off the screen and the switch. Now the double team. Johnson nearly banked it in baseline. And that in the non-conference schedule, but Florida, Auburn, Bama, all with big wins today, proving why they are so highly thought of. Trey Johnson, his first points of the second half, and it's a 3.
South Carolina has really done it all for their defense. They have really stymied Texas from being able to get the ball where they want it and being able to come up with clean looks. Drives. And then defensively, he steps up and he does a good job.
Trey Johnson, quick trigger, too strong. It'll stay on this. Johnson picked up by Arden Conyers. He'll try to take advantage and does. Second bucket for Trey Johnson in the second half. And rejected by Shedrick, who just stole it.
Yes.
Johnson off glass and in.
It looked like offensive goal.
Well, now has a new book coming out. Trey Johnson. Well, that was silky smooth.
But he has to work. So right now, South Carolina had a tough shot and a turnover. And again, we talk about controlling the game offensively.
7 straight field goals made by Texas. Here come the Horns. Got to go. Johnson sensing that. Picked up by Davis. The crossover. The hesitation. And the tip in by Shedrick. The lead back to 16. Johnson on Thomas, banks it in.
He's just too big, too talented now. He has been positive. He's been optimistic. And there's a difference.
And well said. Big year for Trey Johnson. He'll end the night with 29 points. Coming off.
Julian Larry will lead the way. A whole bunch of transfers on this Texas team. They got good pieces. And Johnson can't get that first 3 to go, but Shedrick kept it alive. Johnson will make the difficult shot. Not there. 0 for 2 to start. We'll start with a Kentucky lineup. And Travis Perry with 4 seconds on the shot clock. They got to get it up quickly. Great offensive rebound. Johnson, no good. And another offensive rebound, and they're going to get, he knows what the cards are as far as the deck goes right now for Texas, and perhaps for his future here. Well, that was a goaltending. That ball was up above the rim and in the cylinder. And Larry trying to drive against Perry, denied. Williams, he's on Johnson. Soft touch for Trey Johnson. He's got 4.
And again, an example of a tough shot and a tough start this game. And they want to go right at those Kentucky bigs and try to get especially Williams in foul trouble.
Johnson looked right at the defender and shot over Garrison. Had that ball knocked away by Kent. Here's Johnson with a pick. Perry back. Johnson lay-in.
Well, this is the energy that I expected Texas to play, but he has a complete game. We're talking about 20 and wide. Always checking him right now. He is a tough cover.
Oh, boy, did he get rid of that quickly. He looked right over at the official, Doug Schaus, wondering, Perry, oh, boy, did he hit the ground hard. We talk about contact on a layup, but no foul called. Johnson's 3, too strong. Larry to the ground, kicked around.
We're going to be okay. No, you got to win dadgum games, and that's exactly where Texas is tonight, Ravi. 4-8, they're on the bubble, a major opportunity on their home court.
Johnson rose up, and he couldn't.
Just his second that he has taken in SEC play.
Good move, Johnson, as he beat Oweh. He turned his back on him.
Yeah, Oweh just, you can't as well as you can do it for a big kid.
Johnson, the floater, that's no good, and the rebound to Kentucky. Think about the prior 2 trips against big body Garrison. And now Johnson with 10. Fade away, right on the money.
Well, he can create his own before the half. Has so much meaning to it. Who gets it in this one?
Johnson will fire again, too strong. And now it's Kentucky's basketball, and they got a chance to settle. Now he'll launch a 3, and that's a little too strong. Now will Trey go one-on-one? He will. Difficult shot. He makes all of those.
I mean, he was by Larry. If you're Texas, score right now in your transition game.
Johnson trying. Throws it up. What a play. Trey Johnson.
Especially when he's got put
up by Onyema to come back and help out.
I just don't think that's the shot Mark Pope wants out of Oweh off that ball screen up top.
Johnson went through traffic, somehow got his own rebound. Pope steps into one.
And Kobe Brea needs to have more than 2 points in this game going forward.
But if I told you he'd only have 2 and they'd be down 1, what would you think?
That's good news for Kentucky.
Yes, exactly. Kobe Brea really shined late in that game against Tennessee as we hit the 11-minute mark. Johnson went with the left instead of the reverse.
You cannot open
shot clock in the hands of the right guy, Johnson. Behind his back, he's going to rise up for a 3. Nearly got it to go, but Carr rips it away, and we're tied.
Strong with the ball. Oweh says thank you very much.
They left him open, and that's short. An air ball.
Shedrick right out of the way. Again, his nose for the ball and urgency to get to the front of the rim is elite.
Double-double for Amari Williams. Johnson wants to do it again. Throws up a circus shot. Again gets it.
Oh, my goodness! With the left hand. Right there. Yes, sir. That's what scores do.
Shedrick had it. Johnson does now. No good. Shedrick with the flush. Johnson wants it. Now he has it with 28 points. Got it! He's got 30.
How patient was Trey Johnson?
Larry gets the start. Jordan Pope had been the starter. They go with Larry. Better defender, better distributor. Tough shot on the baseline, and he finds the bottom. That kid is an absolute bucket getter.
Shedrick, though, just a very consistent 7-7 guy right now in league play at 25 minutes a game.
Corner 3 finds the bottom, and you can't let Trey Johnson have a shot. Kaluma for a 3.
I'm a big fan of Philon. That dude can get in the paint about any time he wants. His shot is still a work in progress, but he plays hard.
Right back at you, Trey Johnson. Call me. His numbers had been a starter, and they put Larry to start. They'd like to see Pope maybe have a little fire lit underneath him. Johnson. Oh, man, he knocks down another one, and he is absolutely on. Last chance to face a 1 or 2. There's a wild turnover, and Mark pushes. Johnson, no, it was off to his left. He was moving to his left when he shot it, and that's where the bit of going against the Cats, who shot, what, 50% from three-point land again?
Again, length on Trey Johnson. This time it's Nelson.
Too strong, and that one is tipped up and in. It may have actually been a timeout as we head under the 4-minute mark of the first half. Johnson rises, fires, and that had to feel good. It went right over his former Link teammate.
Everything. Guard is an All-American. She was last year in her first year.
Johnson wide open, 3, no good. Shedrick crashed, and a rebound to Alabama. When they brought that ball down, 3 of them were looking at Sears saying, we got to go, we got to go. Nelson, one-man show. That comes up short. Shedrick, the rip, wants to throw it up, and that's
again by Jaren Stevenson to start this second half. 6'10" on 6'5" is what Nate Oates decides to go with. What a shifty move by Johnson.
Sure was.
To get open, to shake the size off of him.
Mark or Shedrick need to see the ball go through the basket. Johnson penetrates, fires it up, no. Good defense again inside, too tall, Amore. Johnson left wide open. That's a layup for Trey Johnson. Well, he's got 20.
Yeah, you didn't run him off the 3 turnover game for Alabama. It was way back on January the 4th. They've got 10 turnovers in this game. That's a number you got to keep an eye on.
Stevenson, another guy you got to keep an eye on. No, that time Youngblood just was married to Trey Johnson, could not free himself for a 3. Now he gets it, now he fires. No good. Can't offensive rebound, goes reverse to lay it up. And
Ravi, it's teams that are good shooting teams, they throw strikes, and that's what Alabama has done in their half-court offense.
Johnson got free a little too strong, and that's a big opportunity for them. That was a shot from Johnson, and it didn't get him Saturday. Johnson wants to go one-on-one against his former Lake Academy teammate, and he can't get that one to go. Aiden Holloway on the push. Bent.
It bent, yeah. Yes.
Stevenson nearly got tripped from behind. Whoa, boy, does he have great body control to lay it up with the left.
Larry, so good with the basketball in his hands.
2-to-1 on the year, assist to turnover ratio. Thinks like a point guard.
Johnson has it rattle out on the baseline, Jay.
And we didn't know this time yesterday if he would go or not
Right.
with the calf injury. Kaluma's got some issues.
Johnson right on line, but left it short.
Shedrick, I'm sorry, that nickel has made 3 or more threes in a game.
What a weapon. Here's Johnson. Finally, he wasn't going to stay down for long. First bat. Here he comes into front court. Gets a high screen.
Be
Look
careful.
out.
Yep.
Shake and bake on. And then a fade and fire.
Be careful.
That is the guy you cannot afford to heat up. Johnson sees a hedge out. Now takes it inside. Hangs, fires, missed it. And then the follow-up, weak side, flying. That's a settle. And here comes Johnson. Can't get it. Shedrick has it stuck against the backboard. And
Itself, maybe that.
Up and pop.
Yeah, the two guys that we featured at the top going head to head right now. Fun stuff.
The break. Magnon will turn it over.
Great read by Larry defensively.
Johnson missed it. Rebound Kaluma. Got blocked. Vandy trying to catch fire here. Johnson around the screen, probing, leaning, firing, and missed it. And a nice rebound in traffic by Nick. Now on the switch, it's Nickel.
Isolation.
And Johnson wants it. Johnson crossover. Johnson driving, hanging, and hitting it off the glass and in.
I think he could
Score.
So many times those good three-point shots come after offensive rebounds. That's a problem. That's a problem.
Johnson can't leave him alone. Johnson with third
on the court. Magnon guarding Kaluma is one of them.
Pryor feed down low and missing it. Johnson just lost the handle.
Defenders, then you've got to make the right play.
Here he is one-on-one with Collins. This on paper is a mismatch. And he kicks off. And the rebound, Magnon.
I don't know of another player that has touched so many different, broadcaster who's touched so many different levels of basketball than Hubie Brown.
Arkansas's best offensive team is not their best defensive team, and so that's the trade-off that Coach Calipari and this staff have been trying to figure out this season.
Trey Johnson off the mark. He'll take a lot of contested shots, but he makes a good catch. And Bart Lennox was all over that. Official on the baseline. Here's Trey Johnson with the drive. Tough angle, and Shedrick there to pick it up. All hands.
Press conferences saying, look, of course they came in and made a bunch of threes against us because we're Kentucky. And guess what happened? He got to do that to Kentucky.
Trey Johnson off the mark. And the ball gets kicked around to Wagner. The screen, left his feet and turned it over. Trey Johnson leading the break. Tough angle. And that'll go out of bounds and off.
Pick and pop with him, or what Coach Cal wanted him to do all preseason. He said, look, you're not just going to be a standstill shooter big man.
Trey Johnson for three, drills it. Seth Greenberg compared him to Ray Allen when Cal was pumping up Ivisic shoot around today, and he was pointing him out to the rest of his teammates. He said he doesn't need anybody to tell him he's great. He knows he is. Trey Johnson has scored a second-half player of the course of the season, so that's no big surprise, especially against A&M. And Davis goes down, recovers nicely. Great effort on the defensive end for Arkansas. Out to deny him.
I think they like this matchup here. You got to post him up. There you go. That's the shot.
Fade away. Rebounded by Carter Knox. Go in that I felt like could have really turned the tide and given us that boost of energy we needed. One of those was a transition three from Trey Johnson. Here's one of those, and he's off the mark.
I will say, Tom, this reminds me of
adding to the Longhorns' shooting woes. 2 for 12 from 3. Trey Johnson off the screen, in and out. And as those, myself and Jimmy Dykes, should be a great atmosphere at Bud Walton, especially if Arkansas can win two in a row on the road. Here's the feed to Davis, stolen.
Above the rim. We've seen his rim protection, but where he's deadly is that pick and pop.
Johnson, turnaround off 1 foot. He's not having the night.
No, and that's a good look for him. I mean,
at Kentucky. He arrived from Croatia and still had to fight for eligibility through the university. Nearly blocked that one out of Johnson's hands.
Credit him. You've been on the bench for a long time in this game to get that late shot clock and do a nice turnaround jumper.
Johnson, reverse layup off the window, good. By the way, word from Alyssa Lang, Devon Price.
Just a tremendous set play call by Coach Calipari out of the timeout.
Hey, Johnson, sidestep three, drills it. There's that Ray Allen comp that Wagner says, I'll take it. Let's peek ahead to Saturday night on ESPN. Here's Trey Johnson. Arkansas and Alabama not great.
Oh, God. You talk to anybody that's been in this league a long time, they say, look, it might not be night in, night out at Bud Walton Arena, but when they're at their loudest, that has been the toughest place to play.
Wagner pinned by Shedrick. He had blown right by Johnson, but picked up by his teammate. Transition three. Got it! Trey Johnson is alive, and so are the Lord. 12 of the last 14. Trey Johnson can take over a game deep. And Kaluma crashing the glass. Well, Mark has yet to score in this game. Johnson working on Davis. Slithers his way through, but can't finish, and then tried to track down the miss. Listen, as tough as the SEC is this year, 7-11 with the right 7 wins will get you in. Johnson banks it in. But that could be a much better finish than just...
All of a sudden, all the goodwill that you established on the road at Kentucky, it goes away.
Johnson blows the layup. That kind of night for Texas. They outscore Arkansas in the second half.
Regular in the big dance when he was leading the Racers of Murray State and won Ja Morant to the tournament. There's a step back baseline jumper, and that is part of the mid-range. Try to reset here with 13 on the shot clock. Johnson around the screen. Johnson. Couple moves down low, and there's a shot in the paint. So we've seen the mid-range game, and we've seen Johnson donning the headband at number 20 on the burnt orange jersey. Takes it strong. Missed that one short. And a nice box out by LSU, and Robert guarded by Sears. The other part of that dynamic duo for LSU in the backcourt. Rise and fire three. Left it short. Sears boards it at 5'11".
He draws a lot of attention, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he really does. Top of everybody's scouting report. Step back three from the corner. Nothing but the bottom of the net. So he's done it all.
Watch out. This is a bad isolation with Collins.
Johnson with a fade and fire. Missed it. Tough shot by Arthur Kaluma. But an offensive rebound.
Smart tip out by Pryor.
Texas dominating the glass early on, and that's going to be a goaltend off his pogo stick. Back. Johnson draws the contact, no whistle, out of bounds. It will remain Texas basket of the first half.
Should go 2 for 1, and both teams have fouls to give.
Off the curl, rise and fire three. Good look for the freshman, missed it that time, and a long tap out to Fountain. Gene there, not asked to take on nearly as much of the scoring load in Austin with all the other weapons that this team has, including this guy right here. That is an NBA move and an NBA finish for January.
No Ziegler today, no Milicic. No problem.
No problem
for the Vols.
Tough shot on a fadeaway, and then drawing the foul on the rebound.
And Sears have been going. That's the only way LSU can play at its ceiling.
Yeah, they had to have that against a Texas team with all kinds of scoring prowess. They have definitely gotten into a great rhythm in this second half. This guy's always in rhythm. How about that? That's just one of those. Good defense, yes.
Run Julian Larry out there to help run the offense. Larry was sensational against the Aggies. Trey Johnson going baseline. That is his move, and he finger rolls it in.
Ole Miss does so much switching that Johnson does a nutman on Trey Johnson.
Did you just say Sooner in a Texas game? That is outlawed, my friend. Another Ole Miss turnover. Trey Johnson and the Longhorns on the offensive point. He was fantastic against A&M on Saturday. 6 assists, 0 turnovers. Here's the league's leading scorer, just a freshman. Trey Johnson has yet to score. Parmy only has 1 on average. Here's Julian Larry and now Trey Johnson.
Every possession must end with a cut against this help side defense.
Trey Johnson contested deep 2. He's got 6. Larry into the paint. Kaluma touch pass, and Trey Johnson got it.
He's feeling it, man. It is carrying over. Count it and get the ball.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't on Pope's defender. It's on Mikael Brown-Jones. Trey Johnson's 3 is off. Texas on the offensive glass makes his home here in Oxford. He and Tim Floyd holding court at City Grocery. What a pair of storytellers those guys are. Tough turnaround. And then a Texas take. And it skips into the backcourt. They say no backcourt violation. Tipped by Ole Miss.
They usually call that a controlled catch, but not the case. I will say
Johnson wants it back. He's got the 5'11" Murray on. Trey Johnson is 6'6".
He doesn't like the ball screen. He'd rather just shoot over the top.
Empty possession for Texas.
Win streak to start conference play, and a primary reason why they had that huge win at Alabama. He was a monster.
He owned him on the glass. And Trey Johnson is able to hit 13 for him. Shedrick's playing with a bloody lip. He's got a bloody head.
They want to clear out on Dia once again.
Johnson step back, short. Padula will lead it. 3-on-2
with that ISO opportunity.
Rebels lead by 3. Trey Johnson is able to get the whistle on the drive. The Texas bench insists that she count. Here's Johnson, shot clock at 8. He wants his space, working on Morrell. 3 ball, in and out. The offense. Here's Mark again, half step on Padula. Now he finds Trey Johnson, and we're tied.
Huge.
Matthew Morrell all over him. From midcourt, 10 on the shot clock. Johnson picks up eyes, off the glass, no good. Follow tip is no good. Rebels secure the rebound.
Too clutch.
Here's Pope. 6, gives it up. Mark with 4. Mark to Trey Johnson for the tie. It was right there. And Ole Miss.
Transferred over from Indiana State. Arthur Kaluma is out with a bothersome knee injury. Here's Trey Johnson, the super freshman, is able to convert.
I love that drive by Johnson. He had the center.
Seconds. Manny Obaseki with the game-winning 3 at the end of regulation. Here's Trey Johnson for 3. Nope. And a push on the rebound. A&M.
If you're Texas, you've got to try to beat that press and go right into your offense.
Johnson with the ball fake. He did not have a good shooting game against A&M at Reed Arena, and he's hoping to bounce on the offensive end. He's ready to check in at the next dead ball. Johnson's got parking lot range and efficient from the midi, and he knocks that one down after the pump fake on the perimeter.
Yeah. Take the bait on that. The problem is the Aggies are taking the bait and they're making them.
Trey Johnson puts it up from the horns. Into the hands of Wiltshire. Very Coleman, no. Trey Johnson brings it across. He's going to try to take it himself. Off the glass and in.
Really nice job getting all the way.
5% from the floor, 9 of 20.
Yeah, he calls for a ball screen, but he doesn't really want to use it. He'd rather go one-on-one.
Tried to step through. He is a tough shot maker, but that sometimes leads to just simply tough shots. 3, and he nearly banked that one in. Johnson, transition, no, and Hefner with the rebound. Half of A&M's make.
Possessions off. They don't play the scoreboard. Whether they're up big, tied, or down big, they play with the same energy and effort.
Johnson left the mid-range short. Texas has had a couple of really sluggish from way deep. And a chance to run for the Horns. Pope drops it off. Johnson for three. Oh, he was feeling it now. You don't get back quickly. Taylor beats. Johnson very rarely uses the screen. Here's Shedrick, gives it right back to him. He knocks it down. Is that, you think, because he would prefer not to know? Rebound into Pope's hand. 1-on-2. Turns it into a 2-on-2. Trey Johnson for three. No, again. Texas.
Make the easy one.
To your point about this lineup, Nick Cody hasn't played much for Texas this season, but on the floor with the other four. Tough two. Falls off, and the Aggies come up with it.
Unguardable.
Johnson working on Washington. And he takes tough shots. He's got a team high 18. Here's Trey Johnson, guarded by Coleman. Step back three. Got it! 5 in a row for the freshman Trey Johnson. Lies in wait. Johnson directs traffic. Crosses over to the logo. Rebounded by Texas, and Kent fouled. Larry has nowhere to go. Mark to Trey Johnson. Gathers and guns. Got it! Bait on Mark.
They never got the switch, which hurts their offensive rebounding, too.
Kent finds Johnson for three. Got it! We've got a one-point game.
He stopped moving the basketball to set up those shots.
Yeah, he said he didn't want it to stick. But Rodney Terry, obviously that run he made to the Elite Eight, Big 12 tournament title, he knows what he's doing. He needs this kind of effort that you see this early in the game.
So Johnson, no, his second attempt, no good. So 2 quick misses.
Dennis Gates was actually talking, I believe, to Owen Short because he felt like Anthony Robinson got the basketball back, so he could have went back up.
Trey Johnson from deep. He's now 0 for 3. Pryor draws the. They're trying to work on Pierce. Pierce, so matching that physicality. Here's 2 high school teammates going head-to-head. Barrett and Johnson, and Barrett wins that matchup. Offensive board, out to Bull, and a strong rebound.
Yeah, grown man rebound right up there by the rim. I like the push here, though, by Texas.
Largest lead. And more! Trey Johnson!
Arthur Kaluma really wants the basketball right now. He's got a mismatch. 15 seconds, though. They need to be patient.
Johnson found the glimmer and cannot connect high off the glass. Still just one, working his way to his 5th double-double of the season. Johnson has hit 1 shot. Looking for number 2, leaves it short. It has been a tough start for the freshman star.
Who's playing their 5 position right now.
Kaluma with the drive. Here's Johnson, free throw line.
He's a mid-range specialist. His ashes against the Missouri Tigers, that's one of the first ones I've seen them lose in this game tonight.
Robinson picked up foul number 3, right to Johnson, too strong. Offensive rebound, Kaluma, no.
Perkins' is man, which allowed him to get open for that 3-point shot. Now Missouri back in that matchup zone.
Grill got a piece of it. Johnson, no response. That's going to be a foul on the floor. In the type of season, Julian Larry or anyone associated with this program expected from him. But tonight, he's playing his role, playing with poise. Johnson, short, strong rebound by T-Paint. No good. Jordan Pope stayed with them. Pope wants to run. The trailer. Johnson for 3. No. Who's it off? Shedrick gives it back to Julian Larry. Johnson wide open. And still will not go. Kaluma. Offensive rebound. Julian Larry will reset the offense. Trey Johnson calling for the basketball. Trying to work on Grill to the paint. The touch. No. To a 14 for Johnson. Got it across in time. So Texas, will they show patience? Johnson wants it immediately and finally has it. His 3rd make of the night. 12 points.
Johnson leading the SEC in scoring, trying to become the 6th freshman all-time to finish the season in that spot. Loves his mid-range, and he gets it to go.
Well, that is his spot. Either off of isolation, or just going to make.
He was limited in practice last night for Texas and maybe limited today due to an injury against Oklahoma. Trey Johnson too strong. And a chance for Alex Condon to lead the break.
Back to being who he is.
And 3 turnovers in that game against Mizzou. Another impressive win for the Tigers. They own a win against #1 Kansas. Spin move in the paint after the offensive.
Pay off for you boxing off on the glass. You don't want to get in a mismatch with your point guard having to box off Condon.
Trey Johnson from the logo, and he bangs it home. 41% from 3 on the start. Longhorns have made their last 3. Onyema gives it up. This is the isolation they want to run for Trey Johnson. Turnaround. That is a beautiful shot.
That's pretty much how he closed out that Oklahoma. Always better than no matchup.
Here's Johnson again, isolation. Fade away, got it again.
I don't know if there's a guard in all of college basketball. And Martin just wins that battle.
Balance through contact is something that younger players just don't seem to get.
Oh.
Here's Johnson for 3. He's a scoring machine, rebounded by Aberdeen. Nothing or better this season. I mean, they can put it on you in a hurry. Here's the isolation for Johnson, and that will end that skid. Remember, this is a Florida team earlier this season that scored 20. Mark off the back rim. Here's Johnson again. Whoa!
Whoa! What was that?
he kind of got lost. Where'd the rim go? Is it? Longhorns were able to have that. Shot clock at 4. Johnson going to work. Off balance, has it rejected. And Florida get one last shot off. Cross midcourt. Here's Martin.
Pretty good, but Wake Forest trying to fight their way into contention for that NCAA berth.
Johnson deep. In and out. Mark wide open. And second words for Condon. And Johnson cut off. A little up and under move. Got it.
Really good at creating his own space, is he not, for a kid that's first year in college at the college level a year earlier?
He was at Lake Highlands High School. They went 34-3 and won a state championship his junior year. His transition 3 is no good. Another chance for the Longhorns.
Yeah, those older, more physical Florida guards defensively have made life tough on 20 and White.
Richard with the rebound. Push ahead. How at-large teams in the NCAA tournament having a conference winning percentage at 39% or lower. In fact, West Virginia went 7-11 in the Big 12 just 2 years ago.
Oklahoma in this building against Texas A&M, an 18-point lead before the Aggies storm back. Here's Trey Johnson. Godwin controls the rebound. And Fears turns it over. Try the cross-court pass. Johnson. Here comes Miles.
Both teams amped up, are they not?
The clear.
Almost a game within the game tonight.
Hand off to Johnson. Baseline, the mid-range. Boy, silky smooth.
Yeah, he is so good in that 12 to 15, kind of off the bounce shots like that.
And a turnover. Here comes Johnson. And the Horns jump out to a 5-point lead.
Yeah, there's no
fast breaks. We can sell those. Both teams trying to become better rebounding programs.
Oh,
Trey Johnson didn't need
very percentage in league.
In your mind, do they have the size to be better rebounding teams than they are?
I don't think so. Okay. I don't think they have the girth. Defensive rebounding is about strength. Offensive rebounding.
How about trust? How about trust with his teammates? That was on display with that last dime moments ago. This time he'll shoot it. Fears a rebound.
I think Fears has got to attack here.
Outside and an open 3. Well, Pryor, love to have that one back. Here's Johnson, right in his wheelhouse.
Roy, did you see the depth? Where's your leaner game? Shoot a little floater.
Johnson.
Oh, no.
How about the handles?
No.
Jedrick up and in on the putback. Trying to score. How does that give the defense an advantage?
Less time to get the last shot.
Johnson in and out. That was a heat check of sorts late nationally. And they have been very impressive so far tonight. Johnson.
Oh, no.
With the bounce. Are you kidding? Trey.
Whatever it takes, man.
We didn't have that on the bingo card tonight. Johnson. Shedrick against Wiggy.
50 balls, rebounds.
4 to shoot. Johnson throws it up. And a shot clock violation.
Much better. That's much better.
Johnson off the mark. Kent rips away the... Trey Johnson. Not this time. Stuck on 12.
Trying to go freshman against freshman.
There it is. Beers on Johnson. The turnaround. And the bounce.
How good is that?
Johnson defended by Goodine. Trey Johnson. In and out and back down. The freshman playing like a...
To get more wins against ranked teams. You look at their schedule, my goodness, nobody's had a harder start to SEC play than these guys.
Here's Johnson for 3. That was in rhythm.
Their time before he sees it start going through.
Third different Division I stop for Milicic. Here's Trey Johnson now. And Trey Johnson hits the mid-range. He draws up. Yeah, and Ziegler's trying to guard the 6'7" Kaluma. Went off for a career high last game. Ziegler's got to be matched up with Larry. Baseline jumper good. That's Trey Johnson again.
Back out, create the opportunity.
Kaluma got his hands on that pass. Johnson transition 3. Feeling it. It started with the assist. And then Trey Johnson. Shot clock at 5. Trey Johnson with 3, 2. Contested 3 off the rim. And it's knocked out of bounds by Caden Shedrick.
The shooters in the country be ready for it. That time he delivered.
Pope gives it up. Here's Trey Johnson, one of the top freshmen in the country. And the rebound to Milicic. By the way, speaking of Florida midweek. Here's Johnson. Size advantage on Ziegler. Turnaround, fadeaway. Beautiful jump shot from Trey Johnson, who's got 9.
Well, Johnson.
After losing to Michigan in the regular season finale. Shot clock at 7. About a 3-second difference between shot and game clock. Trey Johnson. Man, he is something else. He's got a dozen. Kaluma gives it back to Johnson. 6 on the shot clock. High off the glass and good. You just made this point. Texas doesn't need to share the basket.
Yeah.
Good luck, but another miss at the rim.
A healthy Cade Phillips doesn't miss that. He's really struggling with that shoulder.
Trey Johnson for 3. 17 for the...
It's still applicable.
There's Durant's mural. Step back. Oh, this guy is a blast to watch. Shooting performance against Texas A&M. I liked his shots. He got good looks. It was just a bad shooting day. Fade away. He even made that one harder than it should have been. He was taking the game over. Clinging to a 2-point lead. Here's Julian Larry. Trey Johnson lurking in the corner, guarded by Meshack. Beautiful back cut and a 2-hand jam. He set him up for that one. It's 24. Johnson leaning into Meshack. Turnaround, left it short. And Okpara fights for the rebound. The 6-point Volunteer lead. Here's Trey Johnson from the elbow. Nearly unstoppable. 26 for the freshman. Larry has nowhere to go. Here's Trey Johnson. Contested fall away 3 is an air ball. And the rebound is Zakai Ziegler. For Tennessee comes with 32 seconds left. Texas is likely to fall to 0-3 in the league. Trey Johnson off the mark. He's missed his last couple. Shedrick gets taken down.
In the lane, no. Offensive glass. He's Shedrick. He'll kick it back out. Johnson, the runner. It's no good. Here's Caden Shedrick again. Diving on. Second in the conference in scoring. That drive is no good. He went 2 of 13 against A&M. And they're Lipper has it stripped. Johnson, the pull-up, too strong.
Tough shot, but you don't mind him taking ball. Playoff has been worth the price of admission.
Oh, my goodness.
See if the Longhorns can get to Will Howard.
And first bucket is for Trey Johnson goes down. From 3 on the season, tonight 5 of 9. Johnson falling away, nothing but net.
Okay, Brian, are we warming up?
4% from the line.
I think Auburn fans appreciate you not jinxing them.
That was almost another block. Count the bucket for Trey Johnson.
Short. I think at this time, this Auburn team is the #1 team in college basketball.
Eric Kaluma missed them both, but Texas got it back. Johnson misses that 3. Broome another rebound. You saw that.
Fins here versus Trey Johnson.
Johnson.
Solid.
Yeah. The follow.
I like this matchup here for Texas. He's got size.
Yep. Here's Trey Johnson working on Pettiford. Tries to shoot over and got it.
Johnson. What an excellent shot.
Boom. His shot no good. Rebound, Trey Johnson. His shot is blocked. Pettiford leaking out.
That was a set play. Again, one of those pearls of wisdom that we talked about right out of the timeout.
Johnson misses the 3.
That puts a damp.
Here's Johnson working on Denver Jones. Fading, short. Jones back the other way. To Johnson, drives the baseline. He's got cut off by Baker Mazzara, who blocks his shot. And how about the poke? He can make it interesting with a 3. Fades, got it. He's in double figures.
And if you're Texas, you want to push it right now. As good as A&M is at their offensive rebounding, Texas is great in transition.
Another mid-range 2.
You think the hype and the nerves are a little bit there, too?
Game last time he was in Reed Arena. He gives the ball up. He transferred in from Arkansas. He had 2 monster games against A&M last year. Trey Johnson, no. It's an 0 for 3 start for the Longhorns. Offense. Here's Johnson for 3. That one was halfway home but wouldn't go.
Well, they got lucky because that was miscommunication through the hoop there on that corner 3.
And Taylor turns it over. 2-on-1 for Texas. Trey Johnson floater. Good. And Texas is putting together a run now to increase the strip. that is way better. Probably the only one either one of you had that night. Johnson contested over 2. And that'll be a whistle and a foul. Here's Kaluma with the handoff back to Pope. Now Trey Johnson lets it go. And he twisted his ankle on the jump shot and still not there. It was interesting. We were talking with Trey Johnson, a shoot around today, and you asked him, I thought was a very enlightening question. Would you rather play in front of a full house at home or on the road? This guy range in and out. Here's Manny Obaseki. Obaseki, no. And rebound. And off with a shot clock and a turnover. A&M has opened the second half on a 15-2 run. And in the second half, Texas is 0 for 6 from. That's what he can do.
And I think he's felt it. His frustration has been more of, yes, the result wasn't there, but it's because he thought those shots were going in. They've been right on target.
Lamar Kaluma with the board. 2 pump fakes. And he's rejected, but they get the whistle. He had 3 Aggies in the air on his second pump fake.
That is a monster rebound.
No good. Trey Johnson 2 for 13 tonight. Pardon me, 2 for 12. Tough night.
Yeah, just one of those nights for him. I think they've gotten clean looks. He's frustrated. It just hadn't been falling.
By the way, Wade Taylor now at 1,800 career points.
Bettis getting his first start for the Demons. Tremont Mark down to the baseline. Now they'll send it to Kaluma. Out front, Pope into the corner. Here's Trey Johnson's first game back with a three-point try. No good off the mark. Tip-up rebound control. Turnovers in the last 2 minutes. Trying to get it back turned around. Driving through traffic. Shot back. Pass back behind to Johnson. Trey, left elbow jumper. Rattles off the rim too firm. Rebound, Northwestern State. Controlled by DR. Looking to dribble penetrate. Off it goes to Trey Johnson. Moving back to the right side. Fade away from the right side. It rattles home for Trey's first bucket.
Wow, what a good shot that time. He knew right.
Man in zone and matching up. Running some matchup zone against Texas. Left side is Johnson. Drives to the baseline with a fade away, and it gets the friendly roll. Back to Johnson again. As we hit the 6-minute mark remaining in the first half. Johnson on the left side. Let's fly with a three, and he nails it.
Great job of coming off the screen, knowing right where
their last 6. On the left side, Larry across the floor to Johnson. Trey, a contested three, and it's good. Trey drains another. And after a sluggish start scoring, that was Jumawan's first personal foul. Trey Johnson trying to drive in. Instead will nail the right elbow jumper.
He got fouled twice on that drive.
Just with the rebound. Pope racing into the front court and just lost the dribble trying to go behind the back, but it's picked up by Shedrick. Off to Johnson for 3. Got it. Trey knocks that down. 2-3 zone for Northwestern State. Weaver into the corner, shooting over it. Johnson, a 3, and it's good. Trey hits his 4th 3 of the ball game. He has scored 18. It's 56-28. Drive it in. Weaver out front to Julian Larry. Swings it to Johnson. Had his three-point attempt blocked, but the ball tipped back to Johnson. He'll try another 3. Shooting it over. Patterson missed that one, but the rebound pushed back out front.
Defensive end, it's just a matter of time to get that put together so that they go in the league play ready to go.
Trey Johnson misfires, but Texas will get a... I don't think we're expecting Onyema to play a lot of minutes in games this season, but when he is on the floor, just how important is he when Shedrick is on the bench as Trey Johnson gets his first 2?
I think it's very important to beat your opponent off the dribble. Passing is probably the most efficient part of basketball.
Robert Carpenter, the Aggies' leading scorer, misfires from 3. Trey Johnson buries the 3 in transition off the Larry assist. State zone. Jordan Pope misfires from 3, but Shedrick chases down the rebound. Johnson pulls up in the short corner. Yes.
And New Mexico State came out with a little wrinkle.
4 more tune-ups before SEC play for Texas. Arkansas Pine Bluff will be here Sunday afternoon. Johnson with the right hand, the runner. He's up to 8 to lead his team. Johnson catch and shoot 3.
Our bigs, or Texas bigs, are pretty substantial, and I don't think he can take any of the guards off the dribble. So, trying to mix up some.
A couple of seasons ago, they upset UConn in the first round, led by Teddy Allen, former Longhorn Timmy Allen's brother. Johnson, tough shot around the rim and out, but the Longhorns will get another chance.
Lining and everything, and for Texas, the opening SEC play, they've got challenges, but also chances to build their resume.
Every team in the SEC is in the top 67.
Penetraba UConn en 2 tiempos, apoyándose en el tablero, falló en 2 ocasiones para UConn. Solomon Ball, el pase afuera, en transición intentando el triple y fallando.
Muy sencillo, muy humilde. Cuando aquí hemos visto, Kenneth, que ya van 4 tiros consecutivos que encesta Connecticut, que no llegó a este partido precisamente con el mejor promedio desde...
Pasaba Kaluma haciendo la cortina. Johnson en el poste medio, se le acaba el tiempo con 5 segundos. Intenta, lanza y anota. Se le acababa el...
Hoskins jugaba para los Wolverines de Michigan las 2 temporadas anteriores. Este es su 3er año. Muchacho centro de 7 pies de altura, por cierto.
Johnson que avanzó, intentó 10 segundos en el reloj de disparo. Johnson que penetra, se le escapaba. Johnson, se acaba el tiempo, 4-3, intenta el triple. A la desesperada en el aro. Rebote
De inyectarle un poco de energía a un equipo que se ve completamente desinflado en su estadio y aquí roban el balón.
Viene robando y la siembra. Despertando Johnson. Robó y la cible y anotó 30-16. Cada vez que se ve, cuando las cosas se ven a favor del equipo de Texas y como que puede repuntar.
Anticipó, únicamente abrió 10, hablábamos de ese recambio generacional, 11 minutos y medio la temporada pasada, este año está promediando 27 minutos sobre abajo del tablero.
En el poste medio, volteándose, doble vuelta y anotando. Tiró 2 veces. Bien.
4 desde la línea de falta.
Johnson en el codo, quiere girar, giró. El jumper y anota desde la línea personal prácticamente. Johnson.
Más de 16 minutos en esta segunda parte. 7.2 puntos promedio por partido. Hoy 10, teniendo gran día Sam Johnson.
Triplazo. Aquí quedaba suelto. 15 puntos. Viene recuperando Texas. Johnson. Samson Johnson, 12 puntos de faltas. Aquí el jumper. En el aro, ¿quién va por el rebote?
State no han vuelto a perder, pero hoy les tocó un peso completo. Hay tiempo.
Johnson, triplazo. Un paso atrás, triple. Ventaja 8.57 por jugar. En todo caso, todavía tiene posibilidades con jugadas como estas.
Aquí en la arena de los Longhorns.
7.46 por jugar, intento de triple desde muy lejos.
El problema que mencionábamos, ¿no? Que no los pueden frenar abajo del tablero, puntos y puntos abajo en la pintura, y es difícil tratar de sostener este ritmo de competirle únicamente.
Kaluma's had a couple of stops, Creighton and Kansas State. Texas pressure, what a jam!
Oh my
goodness. Trey Johnson, the freshman from the Raptors.
What a start.
Starting this game for Texas, similar to the SEC starting the challenge. SEC won the first 9 games before Clemson pulled off an upset of Kentucky late last night. That's a long 2 for Trey Johnson. And
as a high school quarterback, and I mentioned Marvin Mims today.
Yeah.
Denver Broncos, Oklahoma Sooner. That was his target when Julian quarterback.
Well, Mims would make a lot of quarterbacks look good, right? Trey Johnson had a couple of buckets early. He's been quiet since, one of the top freshmen in the country. Mismatch, and he fires over the top. Pulled down by Taylor. Trey Johnson's dad started his college career at Baylor and gets that one turned away as he went on the drive off of him and back to NC State to Atlanta as well.
Rematch.
Kevin Durant was at the first one. Here's Trey Johnson with the fadeaway. Good.
He's got that move down pat. He's got great footwork, fundamental. Not enough on that.
Connell has it turned away. NC State with the turnover. State has given up the lead as Trey Johnson goes back-to-back out of the timeout.
He's good. Johnson, NC State's got to make. They're not a great three-point shooting team.
Now 2 of 8 from deep in this one. Turnaround, Trey Johnson. Middlebrook's got his hands on it.
Back on the road.
And for everything he did while here at NC State, that legacy continues. Johnson pull-up 3. Whoa! This guy is good.
An athlete that, you would think of. He's a basketball player with great skill. Look at this. Wow.
Follow from Shedrick results in a foul against North Carolina.
Little Spain action right here. That's what we call it. Pick the picker.
Johnson.
Nice.
Whoa! Came out of nowhere.
Pop Isaacs dropped 27 tonight. One of my personal favorites.
Johnson cut off. Tough shot.
Yeah, good defense.
Montrezl Styles at 6'6" towards Middlebrooks. Gave him a screen. It's rejected at the rim by Shedrick. NC State thought it was goaltending. Auburn orange the other way. Trey Johnson transition.
We are top of the offensive end. Here's Pope over O'Connell. Rebound. Trey Johnson trying to sneak it in, left it short. Kaluma finds another. Shot clock at 10 now. Let's see what the freshman can do to shoot it. Over the top of the senior. It's a three for Trey Johnson.
The transfer from Kansas State, an entirely new starting lineup for the Longhorns this year, bringing in a number of transfers. But there's the freshman we just talked about, Trey Johnson.
And there he is going against the zone.
To a non-conference team here, 20-0, 33-5 all time. From the Moody Center, Trey Johnson with the miss from the outside. Texas a little bit cold from three-point land. Board, but then they turn it over. Once again, it's Johnson from the corner, halfway down and back out. Texas 0 for 4 on threes.
All those good.
And promptly turned it over, and Delaware State returns the favor. Johnson, Texas with numbers, give and go. Trey Johnson and one.
Right down the alley. You don't cut it off, I will.
Johnson just going right by the D. From the corner, Mark with a miss. Johnson tries his hand and connects.
Woo! From way downtown, Trey Johnson
is up by 17 and forcing another TO.
Got to be careful. Match up in transition if you're Delaware State. Don't lose him.
There's Trey. Batted out by Shedrick. Back the other way. The Hornets with a three. Finds his way over to Pope.
That's what you want to see, intensity. Get on the floor.
Johnson calling for it. Driving, gliding through the paint. But back the other way comes Delaware State. Watson working 1-on-3. Bad idea. Trey Johnson hustling. Trey Johnson to the rack.
That's just good energy right there. Anytime you play like that, you're missing little bunnies, but
he continues back the other way.
Yeah, just a little friendly discussion right there.
Dangerous
Don't leave
pass.
Trey Johnson.
Johnson off the front of the iron. Shedrick reaching back for it. Caden Shedrick.
When you look at it on the glass for Delaware State, he's going to continue to be there. Newton is, and you better get a hand up on him.
Trey Johnson up to 13 points in 17 minutes. Stan Waterman, what do you tell this team coming into this half against this talented Texas squad?
We're playing our basketball. Forget looking at the score. We'll continue to chop it down.
Whoa. And Weaver flew in, but collided.
And then being able to play a little bit more, well, it's all right with me.
Meanwhile, here's the newbie, Trey Johnson. The up and under, Trey!
Speaking of degrees, this young man has one in scoring. That was big for Delaware State. They got him running their offense with 15 seconds or less now.
Work it around to Trey Johnson from the wing. Comes up just short. Hustling back on Trey Johnson.
What impresses me most about him is him being efficient. And I didn't know that he was this much of a willing passer because of that. That's one of the things that you would think you can always get to see out of things to work out better for you. Sometimes as a young player, you get caught up in the game, and it's not good as Trey Johnson pulls from three and misses that one. But I'm sure that's one of the things he was telling Trey Johnson, man, you're very talkative, and that is fine and all, but continue to play the game. Don't lose your head, and things will be fine.
3-on-1 for Texas, Trey Johnson.
Woo! Not only from long range, but they have the green light.
Johnson circling back. Pull-up jumper. Shedrick rips down the board. And Kate
Fleming had 14. Ajabor's tap out into the hands of Kendall Weaver. Running the floor for Texas. Sets up Johnson, who breaks a three, which is tracked down by Weaver. And then Simpson into the teeth of Trey Johnson. Johnson then drives it at Ajabor. Wrong footed finish is good for Trey Johnson. Julian Larry. Larry transfer from Indiana State off the bench. Johnson. Grabbed by Fleming, who high pointed over on Yema.
Good recognition by the freshman to go for the offensive rebound.
Breather for Solano now. Johnson back at it around Simpson. Fade away too deep. Here comes Simpson out of the fray. Simpson crossing over, and Weaver with a terrific contest.
Weaver almost daring Simpson to try to finish over the top of him.
Johnson again.
Oh, man. He obviously getting hit. right? You're getting hit in that shoulder, how you handle that. You know, I remember often with my own knee playing through getting hit or coming down awkwardly saying, okay, I'm okay. But obviously
they're minus 16. Look at the offensive rebounds. They were minus 11 yesterday, plus 7 so far. Johnson, deep shot clock, and once again, a lot of tough shots for Trey Johnson.
Simpson is fighting him like crazy to stay over the top, and they are giving a variety of looks. That's just a tough shot. I mean, I don't know if you can play any for Simpson if you're Billy Lang and if you're St. Joseph's. Those are the kind of shots you want Trey Johnson to take. You want him to take difficult, tough shots.
Johnson misses another.
Those are wins for St. Joseph's.
Fleming playing a smaller ball 5 for St. Joe's as well. Johnson Simpson, Hart Infinity.
Simpson is doing an exquisite job on him.
What's he doing so well?
He just thinks.
And that passes through the hands of Ajibor. 7th St. Joe's turnover. Johnson, a rare clean look. He knows what to do with it. RT got him into Austin.
One of those thoroughbred Texas boys, man.
Yeah, they recruit their home state really well. Even with all the transfers, there are a lot of Texas kids on the push-off way too deep.
How impressive is Kendall Weaver? His sense of urgency and quickness to close out makes him super special on the defensive end.
And then Johnson's into double figures. Just can't get any
there's really nowhere to go.
Man. Johnson will try. Haven't heard him in a while. Onyema, the tap back from Nick Cody. The front.
What an incredible last 7 possessions.
Johnson 3. Could not join the bank shot display. And
Play alive, then Fleming being able to finish again, and then I kick weak side, man. I mean, it's just the versatility, like I said before. On days that Reynolds can't get it going, you got guys that can for the Hawks. Set, let's utilize some time on the clock.
Johnson against Haskins. Got the redshirt freshman on him. Shimmy, shake, and the bang. Largest lead for the Longhorns.
Let's see if Johnson can go to work again.
Instead, Larry Shedrick. Now Johnson. It's his moment. It's his shot.
Like I said, didn't try to force it.
Passer, indeed, he sets up a good look. From the corner, missed by Chris Bell. Here's the starting 5 for Texas. Jordan Pope, the Oregon State transfer, with Kendall Weaver. The bad miss there. Johnson and the veterans Kaluma and
guard the likes of Trey Johnson, the leading scorer for Texas. That's the matchup. And does that take his legs away offensively for what he needs to do for the Orangemen?
Well, 6'4" Starling just got burned by the 6'6" Johnson there. A quarter 3. Starling, no. If you're on the floor for Syracuse, chances are you've missed a 3. Everyone but Lampkin has missed from out there.
Man.
Johnson, well, he gets it up so quickly. You're near the basket in Syracuse.
How about this by Trey Johnson? You're talking about a freshman navigating and orchestrating at the top of the zone.
Clean look from 3 off the hands of McLeod to Starling. Free by Onyema. Transfer from UTEP, who's given them some great performances early. The spin from Johnson into Lampkin and finishes strong.
Oh my. Constant. I feel like that's taking away a little bit of his legs on the offensive end.
Johnson's got it right now. One-on-one against Starling. Pro move.
Big move. That's a big guard. That's a 6.
Our leagues there. South Florida, which won the American last year. Johnson.
Oh my
Starling.
Goodness. That was a tough shot.
Save to Carlos. Garland, Texas freshman.
Yeah, Trey Johnson wanted a drag screen there in transition.
He's got Carlos on him right now. Huge height advantage and a tough fadeaway no.
Super talented, but time and situation and getting to his spots on the floor will come with maturity.
Missed an open 3 there. Two number right there, the John Wallace number. Famous 44 at Syracuse.
Oh, what a play.
Johnson missed it. He got bumped. And the Texas bench screaming for a foul. Johnson did a quiet second half. Has it again. A burst by Taylor. Johnson's floater tipped by Weaver into Lampkin's hands. Here comes Starling. Back for Bell. Johnson was all over that. Totally telegraphed again. And then a chase down block from behind for Chris Bell. Cavalier And another ACC team against him with a terrific chase down block, and he wants the ball. Johnson short on a three. He has had a tough night, 3 for 13.
Get involved in a higher ball screen. Drag out that ball screen.
Trying to shake Johnson free. He is free, and he misses another. Weaver keeps it alive for Kaluma. Shot fakes Kaluma. There's a high ball screen. Trying to scramble back to get Shedrick. Johnson deep two. Just not his night. Texas ball. So the 10th turnover for a Syracuse team that does not do that much. Johnson took a bump. Johnson still trying to get going. He's just forcing everything right now. Johnson has not hit a shot in the second half. He is still trying to operate for Texas, and finally he scores.
That's a pro move.
To the orange over the burnt orange. Weaver out of control, finds Johnson. Missed 10 in a row, and he missed that one. Weaver, who else on the offensive?
Sees Jordan Pope as similar skill set to Max Asmus, the peripheral scorer, who spent 1 year at Texas last year. Johnson off the mark. The putback, still looking for the opening bucket. He's in the SWAC Hall of Fame, still the points and assist leader all time for the Delta Devils program. Spent 13 years as head coach at UAPB in the SWAC. Or taking over at his alma mater, getting again to coach. Weaver again with a hand in the face. Mississippi Valley State finds another bucket over the defender, and this time it's Donovan Sanders. And a quick answer from Trey Johnson on the by the Delta Devils. Arthur Tate.
A little three-quarter court pressure.
Trey Johnson finding a rhythm to start the second half. Off the front iron, Weaver with the rebound. Johnson trying to back his way in. Trey Johnson taking over. Caden Shedrick, Alvin Stredick. Stredick, the transfer in his first year, coming over from UAPB, which is where, again, his current head coach used to be. They're going to count the line. It's Stredick leading the way for MVSU with 10 points of his own. Johnson, power dribble off the glass, gets it to go for a dozen. Around him, no doubt. The rebound out to Julian Larry. Trey Johnson with the triple. Johnson in front of his new teammates. The freshman does not disappoint.
In the Final Four.
That was Porter Mosier as their head coach. He's not a head coach at Oklahoma. Texas breaks the pressure. Trey Johnson's first shot. Bingo for three. It's 10-0 Longhorns.
For the Longhorns' perimeter efforts.
Troy McCoy Jr., freshman, guards fellow freshman Trey Johnson. Pulls up from the elbow. He's 2 for 2.
You know, that's a guard. 6'6", Trey.
On Trey Johnson. Fades over him. Too long.
Nice on-ball defense by Kaluma there. Very, very disciplined.
Johnson, his first miss.
You know, there's like a shot goes off.
A double-digit rebound in a game. Jason Kent, Derek Onyema on the floor for Texas with Larry, Johnson, and Weaver. Johnson lost control going up, taken away by the Cougars.
Nice team defense.
31, 4:41 remaining first half. Sunderland wasn't expecting the pass. Pope, showtime! Johnson!
You think?
Allen misfires. Again, Texas on the run. Again, an open shot. Johnson for three.
Yeah, that youngster.
Texas has rolled to this big halftime lead, regardless of this last possession. They do find Johnson in the corner. Shedrick the foul. Long three, Johnson. Yes.
I was just going to say, are you kidding? Done.
Here comes Larry again with the lead 45. They left Johnson open. He buries another one.
Why not? He loves that right wing.
Pieces to the puzzle, and you know they're all used to getting it all back where they came from, and so that's something.
Transfers from Indiana State, helping the Sycamores to their best season since Larry Bird played in Terre Haute. Kentho struggled Monday in the loss to Ohio State with 2 points. Johnson, the miss from long range. Shedrick there longer. 6 to shoot. Kent drives on Porter Basil. Now the shot clock down to 1. Trey Johnson fires well short, and that's a shot clock violation. Johnson fades over Rogers. Damari Williams the rebound. 5 in a row to get him within 4. 8 on the shot clock for the freshman Johnson. Crossover, pulls up for the elbow. Yes, silky smooth for one of the best high school prospects. HCU is much different than most teams in Division I as Trey Johnson lays it in. There's no collective at HC. Long 3, in and out for Williams. Here comes Weaver. Johnson, Shedrick with the screen. Johnson the layup, and an HCU timeout. Great. Next game for Texas. Mississippi Valley State here in 8 days. Johnson backing in on Dawkins, fades off the mark. Here, he started his college career at Virginia, playing in his 110th career game tonight. Backdoor for Johnson, too long, tipped by Shedrick off the mark.
Make everyone's lives a little bit easier.
20 on the shot clock, 23 to go in the half. Trey Johnson off the inbounds for 3. In the half as Julian Mackey drives and sees Caden Shedrick's sky for the swat. Trey Johnson pulls up for 3. Texas's biggest lead.
Can't leave him open.
Rodney Terry saying his offensive talent is certainly high, but if Kaluma can get better even on the defensive end, he would be a tremendous two-way player. But Trey Johnson finding down again, and it leads to a tough shot for Porter Basil, which is in and out. Longhorns on the run again. Trey Johnson to the rim, missed the dunk. Texas has led the whole way, but it was nip and tuck for much of the first half. And just a 7-point Texas lead at the break. Johnson, this time from the paint, scores again.
Has had some really good teams and right on cue.
Weaver 2 tips this time. Johnson off the glass and scores. 20-2 this half for Texas. Onyema spins too hard off the rim. Trey Johnson tries with a left hand this time, scores.
Post feed, got a.
Approaching the midway point of half number 2. Long 3, Trey Johnson. Kent. Roginson's on the floor for the first time, and he gets the swat. 6'11" freshman from here in Austin. Leads to the Trey Johnson 3. Yes! He's at 28.
Putting the Longhorns on their heels early. Coach Terry talked about their need to guard at the guard position. And right now, the Buckeyes.
With one of the slowest teams in all of college basketball this year, the emphasis is playing fast on the offensive end.
Trey Johnson showing the handles and what he can do, but unable to finish.
Ball club.
And the Buckeyes being physical with Trey Johnson early, not allowing him to settle in, getting his shot. As I'm silenced by Trey Johnson. Trey Johnson says slow.
Beginning his second tour of duty with this Ohio State program. Johnson trying on another deep 3. The Duke transfer has checked into the game for Ohio State. Buckeyes turn it over. Johnson in the transition with the fluidity to his game. So smooth all the way to the cup. 3-point game.
Made a statement earlier. They got a little chip on their shoulders, you know. They were picked to finish 8th in the Big Ten. They feel like they have, as you see, Trey Johnson, who is just an old school
sniper, Grant? That's what you said?
That's his nickname, yeah.
Well, then they got something with that kid. What a stroke. Johnson just barely nicks the front end of the rim, man. It had
decision making, and was just trying to pump up his guys in that huddle, Sparrow.
Taylor, they got to find a way to get some stops. Michi Johnson on a 3. 10 straight points for the Buckeyes, and suddenly it's a
breaks from time to time out there.
Trey Johnson, against Meechie Johnson. What a matchup. The freshman, the spin. Shedrick is there. It's Weaver to the cup, and Weaver got a fingertip on it. Up the floor, Larry Johnson, transition three, and he buries it.
Looked like he was fouled there on that shot attempt.
Then the officials letting him play through the contact. Trey Johnson puts it on the deck. Boy, taking contact.
You talk about a three-level.
Texas Longhorns, number 19 team in the country. Larry gets it to Johnson. He'll fire and buries another three.
To 9 at the rim.
Wow. Possession arrow gives it to Texas. Trey Johnson, 15 points, taking a little bit of contact. No. Offensive rebound, Kaluma, and he's fouled in the Big Ten this season. 7-point lead over number 19, Texas. Trey Johnson, deep shot.
That was Mobley range right there. Opportunities for the Buckeyes inside.
So a 5-point Buckeyes lead. Just under 4 minutes gone by. Trey Johnson on a three left open, and it's going to be a loose ball foul against Ohio. Positioning this year from the Big 12 to the SEC. All part of the massive realignment in collegiate sports. Trey Johnson baseline offering a little bit short. And the rebound. Let's check in with Taylor.
I like him being my teammate.
Thanks, Beer. I was checking into the Texas huddle. He said, let's make this a two-possession game right now. Coach Terry saying we are in better shape. Right now, we are going to go for it.
I feel great. I love that we're not ranked in the top 5. This is something to work for.
Boy, big possession, and a freshman ain't done yet. Trey Johnson. They don't score, but they used a lot of clock. Here comes Pope. Johnson. Back of the rim and the read.
A good majority of those have been contested threes.
And you think of Trey Johnson hitting 5 of those threes himself.
Definitely an early way.
Barr for three. Tipped by Phillips. Still going after it. And it comes to Johnson. Phillips is so active. He'll get a lob before this game's over. And he's held up. Bodies are flying in this one. Taylor with a full head of steam. Boy, that ball might have been touched. But they play on, and now back to Phelps. They've still got time to set something up. Phelps for three. And Johnson wraps it up for the Longhorns. They swing it to Collins. Snaking his way inside. Johnson got a piece of it. You better go strong in this league. Because what is a foul in another league is not a...
Pick set in the half court, Sam Godwin.
Moore for three. Godwin's a force under the rim.
He's a force.
Right?
He's a fantastic screener on the half.
Now it's Elvis, the runner. Tough shot. No bounce. Johnson. And the Horns can play for the final shot of the half. So Luke Northweather press into action with Sam Godwin out with a knee injury. Missed the front end, and that'll do it for the first half. 7 ties. 9 more with a great cut. Outside to Taylor. Passed up the three. And Goodine off the heel. Trey to shoot for Fears. Picked up by Shedrick. Drop back three. No. Kobe Elvis. 4 on the shot clock. Contested three. Outstanding defense by the Horns. Miles. Missed it. Trey Johnson a rebound, and Texas with life. 1.8 seconds. Harris picked up by Kent. The help by Kaluma. And a desperation heave is Aaron. Here comes Johnson.
Numbers this season, Texas tried to show a little zone, but then went man to man.
Jones off the mark, a 1-point game. Mark Wise, Roy Philpott here in Starkville.
Doubling Hubbard off the ball screen.
They'll switch it around. Kugel an air ball.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
One-way traffic at Moody Center. LeFew too strong. Johnson the rebound inside of the final 2 minutes until halftime. Johnson with his foot on the gas.
Taller, longer, bigger, stronger teams like Georgia. Good set.
Too strong from Dakota LeFew. Texas has the same number of turnovers as made field goals. But Antonio Reynolds-Dean had said, I have a gut feeling, let's go with it. They did. Blue Kane came in and he hit that huge three.
Antonio Reynolds-Dean, big-time player, Atlantic 10 Rookie of the Year, Rhode Island.
Wagner rejected by Shedrick. Oh, Mark got hammered. Tremont Mark is down at the top of the key.
Whenever you have a star player, you try to make their life as easy as possible so that every shot doesn't have to be a tough shot.
Johnson coming off a career-high 32 against Kentucky. It's basically equal the production of the rest of his teammates. Ugusu. And a block and landing on his back, and that's got to hurt for Onyema. Quickly to his feet, and only 2 between South Carolina and Texas. Jordan Butler. Trey Johnson a rebound. He's been held in check to start the second half so far.
By Williams, terrific hands. Watch Brea pulling up. Led to 7 Texas points for Kentucky. Oweh, no.
If you're Texas, you want Oweh taking threes. He's got a hitch in his shot.
Johnson's three, too strong. Larry to the ground, kicked around. Johnson has it, and it looks like they may get Carr with a foul. This is a football game. And Perry looked up, he saw Brea on the right. Now he'll launch a three, and that's a little too strong. Now will Trey go one-on-one? He will. Difficult shot to come back and help out.
I just don't think that's a shot Mark Pope wants out of Oweh off that ball screen up top.
Johnson went through traffic, somehow got his own rebound. Pope steps into one, no.
And away. Again, his nose for the ball and urgency to get to the front of the rim is elite.
Double-double for Amari Williams. Johnson wants to do it again. Throws up a circus shot. Again gets it. Oh, my goodness!
Bring him up, right there. Yes, sir. That's what scores do.
Shedrick had it. Johnson does now. No good. Shedrick with the flush. Brea launches way off the mark. Williams denied by Shedrick. Alabama's turnovers becoming a story in this game as Holloway gets open for a three. He can't find it, and Johnson rises.
Yeah, another shot, though, by Bama in the first 8 seconds.
Kent volley on the shot clock. He gets into a trap in the corner. They kick. Kent three. No good. Tipped away again. Pope will fire. There's a three. Front iron and kept alive, and that's going to cost him. They got 5 on 3 right now to Texas. Mark.
Here's McLaughlin up top, an early 7-0 start to this game for the Longhorns. 3 ball from McLaughlin off the front iron, and there for the rebound is Johnson.
What a fast start.
Collins, shot clock down to 5. Desperation heave, misses, and there's Johnson to board it.
All right, be careful, 3 in a row. Boy, Vanderbilt runs this swinging stagger, if you will, that is so hard to defend.
Johnson on another rebound. Absolutely. That's why they're the middies, not the final ballot. Vanderbilt right now looking to get something maybe mid-range. That was Edwards getting blocked on the drive. Here comes Johnson. App puts it on the deck.
He's going to attack off the bounce.
Sets up an air ball. He made up his mind. He was going to take it, like you said, on.
Here's Janelle Davis.
And the drive by Knox, blocked by Shedrick. Texas coming the other way. Trey Johnson.
In the locker room being evaluated. I'm told he is questionable to return.
Ivisic with another miss from inside the paint. Losing that momentum. We had a couple of plays and a couple of shots that didn't go in that I felt like could have really turned the tide and given us that boost of energy we needed. One of those was a transition three from knows how hard Cal worked last year to get him eligible while at Kentucky. He arrived from Croatia and still had to fight for eligibility through the university.
Whether you're talking about in the paint, out on the perimeter, he can get his shot off against bigger, taller players.
Johnson donning the headband. He'll get one here. Pump fake. Drive in the trees. And that was blocked. Great defense that time by Kaluma.
Seemed like he kind of rushed.
A little bit different role with this Texas team, but still a guy that can light it up on any given night. Tough three that time. Fired up by Miller. A little bit of a heat chip. Discombobulated. 2 seconds, 1 second. Did he get it off in time? They say yes, but either way, it's a rebound to Texas.
He blocks him out, and he goes right to the rim for that easy stick back. He makes so many winning plays. And Meshack forces a Johnson turnover. You're so deflected by Milicic, and he runs it down. What great alertness by Milicic. He had his hand. And then a steal to seal it. Opportunities to get it into the middle of the floor. Collapse this defense. The double on Shedrick. And Johnson's pass sails over Weaver out of bounds. Well, Weaver cut instead of saying to Johnson went early and Manion one late, but that's number 4 on Manion. Johnson lost it to Nickel. Edwards, there's a bump.
Off the fingertips of Larry. Out of bounds, it goes to OU. Kaluma with 11 in the second half. Held in check, scoreless in the first. Johnson turns it over to Miles. Here comes OU. Duke Miles. Out of control.
I'm going to give them to you. You need some assists. I'm going to give them to you also.
Johnson off the cut. Was bang, lost the handle. Here's Hubbard. Outside to Kugel. 14 on the shot clock, and here we go. High ball screen for Trey Johnson. Lost the handle. And it goes.
Transfer. Texas back with it, down by 4. Johnson can score in so many different ways. He went spinning, but he lost the handle. And it's another turnover for Texas. It's 5th.
Yes,
already breaking everything bracketology down for us here with Georgia up by 25 first 6 minutes out of halftime. And Joe, we talked about the Georgia side of things as they force another Texas turnover.
The time is going up regardless if you're there or not. Better off going and denying him.
And a steal by Wagner. Push ahead to Carter Knox.
Snake off of him and get there in the easy basket.
Johnson through traffic had it tipped away.
When you get in trouble sometimes, Tommy, just pass it to the rim like Johnson did. I'll do that.
Kaluma looking for Pope. And now Shedrick will hand it off to Trey Johnson. Wanted to pull, passed on it, turned it over. Davis out front leading the break for the Hogs. And
knocks him down.
South Carolina by 14. Trey Johnson throws it 3 rows deep. Lead back to 13. Johnson's got 25, turns it over here. Davis tracks it down. With everything that'll be said after the week off, and all right, you need to play better than this. It's a tough league. South Carolina's better than its record indicates. If you're Rodney Terry on the flight home.
Taking threes. He's got a hitch in his shot. Is why he's so inconsistent.
Johnson got his left arm hit. That led to this. Nice catch. Can't get it to go. Dud. 7 feet, 262 pounds. Nottingham, England. As Johnson finds Shedrick. That's a turnover. And Perry looked up. He saw Brea on the right. Now he'll launch it. As pretty as a Perry shot, but man, it goes in. Johnson, yes, he dribbled it out of bounds, and Owe celebrates good defensive effort by him. Arthur Kaluma, good scorer too for Texas. Johnson working hard. Mark is out of bounds. Yeah, difficult pass. Trey Johnson threw it a little high, and Tremont Mark. They're 8 of 13 from 3. Be a difficult team to beat when they're doing that. And there's another defensive play, this time by Grant Nelson. Up 7, under 3 to go, Indiana. 72-53 here, and did he step out of bounds? He did. Kind of
spasms from the game the other day.
That pass was right off the back of Johnson. Now Johnson attacking on the other end and then tried to thread the needle and turns it over. Here come the Commodores in. Two bigs have been a major problem for bigger front lines in the SEC. Texas right now is completely out of sync. A Vanderbilt 9-0 run and a chance for more here.
Come from the free throw line so far. He's leading the SEC in scoring. Only 5 freshmen have done that. That was almost too good a lead for Shedrick, who couldn't get there.
Yeah, that was actually an incredible pass. They say yes, but either way, it's a rebound to Texas. And then a turnover on Texas, which will bring us to a media timeout. 3:10 to go.
This guy doesn't do good deeds for attention. He just does it because it's the right thing and goes above and beyond.
Tipped it away. Morrell comes up with it, shares it, and the jam.
Ever with Coach Byington really energizing that fan base.
Trey Johnson doubled in the corner. And we got a jump ball. We'll take it back the other way.
It's been cold, but heck, everybody's been cold to start. Johnson passes it up, got bumped by Robinson, no call, and then crushed, absolutely crushed by Bates. Cruz.
Of expectations. Here's the isolation again.
You can let him keep working one-on-one if you're Florida.
A shuffle of the feet. It is an inefficient game.
In him when they had Wade Taylor, and then at home against Auburn and Tennessee, and because of the Missouri win last night in Gainesville, Missouri has moved under 33, fading the whole way to his left.
Stolen by Taylor. Ahead to Fierce. Lays it up and in. Johnson's been held in check in the second half. And a steal. Horns get it right back.
Broome has got 6. And Kaluma lost it. This is what I mean. Pull up for 3. Stolen by Broome.
They led by as many as 30. And right now the lead is 23. Bounce pass inside, and there's a turnover against Texas. That'll be the 9th turnover for the Longhorns. Northwestern State quickly.
Viendo a los Longhorns, Hookem Horn, Jordan Pope, Tremont Mark, Trey Johnson, Arthur Kaluma, Kedrin Shedrick serán los 5 que abran el partido para un equipo que tiene marca de 7 ganados.
Johnson, la finta. Johnson que penetra. En la personal Johnson, el pase rebotado a la pintura. Robaba Ball. Y la posesión es de Connecticut.
Pitt right now in Starkville. Bulldogs all over the Panthers. Johnson. Try to shake, turn around, bucket, and a whistle before he walked with it. Still a big. Johnson going to work. Good D. Taylor ties him up. It's out of bounds off of the freshman. Back to NC State.
Been a good effort on the road.
He's 1 bucket away from a double-double. Lost by Texas. Trey Johnson out front. Hill will commit another foul. A lot of missed free throws on the front end for NC State tonight.
Yeah, that's going to be an Achilles heel if they don't win this game.
And a travel. Trey Johnson.
Been pretty impressive on, but there's Shedrick again for the Longhorns.
Yeah, not able to capitalize off the offensive boards. As you see a turnover right here, Trey Johnson took his eyes off of it a bit. They'll get it back though.
A surprising move. SMU firing Rob Lanier after a really good second year. And Andy Enfield left USC. Here we are. Simpson with a takeaway. Active hands for the Hawks. And the floater, no. Kept alive. Not hitting. 3 for 12 threes. Johnson throws it away.
They're back to Kendall.
Gave multiple assists in each game. Johnson trying to shake Simpson. Simpson unshakable again. Reynolds slash.
Matter of a young man who can stay within himself and develop at his own rate, which Syracuse thinks he's going to do well. There's a travel by Johnson. Good swarming defense by Syracuse for the takeaway there.
And Larry, long rebound for Johnson. And carried it.
Adrian Autry took over
to press the ball up the court and try to create something, get into something, make it easy.
Johnson stripped by Taylor.
Get your team settled. You don't have to play fast.
Does have a timeout into Johnson. Around the double team. Threw it away. Then Starling hits the deck. Carlos does not have a timeout. And he's fouled by Kaluma. Oh, a Texas throw.
Ball game. I think the Delta Devils like the sight lines here inside Moody. They get another turnover. Weaver trying to win it back, and he does. It's 4.
Johnson. Here comes Spinelli. Kent pokes it away. They scored the first 10. Shot clock winding down. Turnover. Robinson. Arthur Kaluma. All newcomers. Pope and Kaluma transfers. Johnson with 7 to shoot. Got it poked away. Tried to save and couldn't. Another turnover. Texas' second. Dawkins with the Euro step. Draws the foul.
10 of 27. Grant said it. 9 of their 10 field goals are threes.
Clean strip, and then Johnson has his pocket picked. Meanwhile, Ohio State has missed 8 straight shots.
He'll get a lob before this game's over. And he's healthier than he was at the beginning of the season. No longer wearing that shoulder harness he had for much of the year as Mark lays it in. Boy, what a terrific pass by Trey running your offense. Johnson again, defended by Gainey. Finds Shedrick, who slams it home. Boy, that was a beautiful pass. The season, they get 42% of their misses. Number 1 in the nation. Johnson into some trouble, finds Kaluma, who scores again. Well, Kaluma did a nice job of cutting in. Can Trey Johnson get himself going? On top, a beautiful pass and a slam by Kaluma. Well, he got the screen from on the Aggies to just 2 on the Longhorns. Johnson finds the open man. Weaver for 3. Oh, you praise the pass. Tipped around by almost everybody and controlled by Johnson. Mark in the corner. Wow. 4-3. Boy, Texas, and he misses the 3.
Yeah, he doesn't miss many of those. Yeah, you get that kind of penetration, he gets a spot-up shot, forget it.
Johnson, a nice feed to Shedrick for the slam.
Poked away by Tremont Mark. He'll save it to Kaluma. Here come the Horns. Jordan Pope for 3. See the starting 5.
I mean, you know, I guess it just depends on how tasty are those cookies.
Do like chocolate chip. Great look to Shedrick, who slams it down.
Great pass by Trey Johnson. Attack that bait.
Really been the difference so far for Porter Moser's team.
Now think about that, right? Moving forward, North Weathers get his confidence.
Larry's had a hot hand. That continues. Tell us on that comp.
I'll buy anything he's selling. Froze the defender. Wow, what a pass.
Tremont Mark wide open.
What a pass.
Tied at 47.
I played with he was going to
make a big bucket at some point. That was it. Gamecocks and Longhorns tomorrow, 3 o'clock Eastern on ESPN for the SEC Tournament Championship. Arthur Kaluma muscles one up and down. Can Trey Johnson get the offensive game going? The vision is there, and the reverse by Pope. Texas back in front. Georgia, didn't we? He's had his moments in the SEC. Lead it for Johnson, a great look to Kent.
He just sees the floor so well. Right spot in the Georgia game. He had 14 points in that game.
Backdoor cut for Johnson, outside to Mark. How about the vision and the dime drop to Tremont Mark to try to spring Trey Johnson free on the low block. He'll bounce out to get it. Shedrick wide open from the corner, and that's a 3.
My goodness, that's Shedrick's C.
Johnson spots Mark, that's a 3, and it drops.
Sensational.
19.
Yeah, they haven't needed him here in the first half. Trey Johnson kicks it back out for Jason Kent. Drills a 3. Only 26% this season. Sophomore from Florida, Dylan James, getting a 4th start the last 5 games. Mike White said to his pregame, he's a winning player. Kaluma cans a 3. 3rd triple for Texas here in the first half. Got a little separation. Odiema got a piece of it. The Horns push. Johnson gave it back to Kent for 2.
Now that's what happens when you're unselfish defensively. You're in Rookie of the Year at Rhode Island. Only person in Rhode Island history to win it as a A-10 championship as a player and coach. Good finish.
By Kaluma. And Texas has trimmed it to 15.
Fires for 3. First miss from deep for the Hogs tonight. And Texas running the floor. 2-hand man jam by Onyema.
Beautiful job right there getting the ball.
Guarded by another freshman in Knox. To the high post, and Kaluma off the curl.
Great execution again out of the timeout. You went 2.
And you mentioned the new faces for Arkansas. Brazil, the only holdover. Kaluma blindly throws it in.
Very nice move by Kaluma. Reverse miking right there.
Here's Johnson.
They are going to the well with this play.
And he finds Shedrick. Great wrinkle out of it.
I'm telling you, Tommy, this young man is not just a...
Last 3 made field goals by South Carolina. All Ugasuk 3s. Johnson, Shedrick. And Wright's going to be...
Onyema got lost. Garrison just floated down the left side, and he was in the middle of the paint. Chance for Pope to bury one. He does. A really good job by Pope to slide.
Right there where Malik Monk did it back in 2017.
Johnson looks up. He finds Kent. Ball fake and a pretty play.
Really good read by Kent because Kobe Bryant was coming. Pope.
24 points. Trey Johnson now by Garrison. And that one goes over the rim from Peck. That's where hasn't been on the mark at all tonight. Still trying, driving hard. Johnson, nice pass in the paint. That's a pretty look from Johnson to Kent.
I've been impressed with Johnson's.
That was a shot from Johnson, and it didn't get the rim, so they got to get it up, and Kent will do it. And he knocks it down.
It's a good job of what we call the boomer for a day and a half. We're going to keep our team together, come to Austin, watch the Super Bowl, practice, and keep our focus, and it has worked out beautifully for the Crimson Tide.
8 of 13 left. Now he gets the ball again. See if he throws up another one. Alley-oop.
Yeah.
That'll work well. A couple of highlights for the folks that have stayed.
And missing that time was Magnon. This is Johnson. Johnson drops off a beautiful pass and the bucket by Kaluma. So Trey Johnson, who is seeing everybody was bunched together right after I just bragged about their spacing. That's a 3. They kind of dared Shedrick to take. Not sure if you want to, but obviously it's a turnover. Great feed from Johnson. Another reason why scouts love that young man. He sees the floor. On the drive, Hogard missed it.
I think Shedrick got a piece of that.
I think he did. Another dime dropped off by Johnson. A two-hand flush for Pryor. And now looking to get something maybe mid-range. That was Edwards getting blocked on the drive. Here comes Johnson. Alley-oop! Oh, look at that play! Johnson to Pryor.
Texas's 7 possessions have gone under 10 seconds on the shot clock. This may be another. Julian Larry pull up, got it right with 10 on the clock.
He's got to look for his shot more. He's a capable.
Boogie Flan, I know they're not as talented, obviously, with a top pick sitting out.
I think big picture they would be better with Flan. There's a much needed 3 by Larry, but
is that how you missed him?
No, it was like his second one with the shot clock. Yeah.
Texas takeaway. Here's a lob. That's a good looking shot. Arthur Kaluma throws it down with 2. Janelle Davis.
A couple buckets, and if you're Texas, you can get this thing to single digits.
Shedrick with the hammer. Got a footer.
Burt shown on that play. That might be the dunk of the year for LSU. Texas comes right back with a silencer. A 3-ball from New Orleans. Off the curl. Johnson, great dime and a stuff. All set up by the freshman. And then finish. Contact and miss the bunny. Everything but the finish. Now Texas the other way. Johnson defers. Strong finish in transition. It's Kaluma. A great decision that time by the freshman. Was Miller, but that's another steal for Texas. They work it around the horn. Great pass by the freshman to the weaving veteran Arthur Kaluma. And now it's How
about Missouri? We talked about Missouri and their big win today on the road in Starkville, and Tennessee winning shorthanded. So what's Missouri's reward on the schedule for winning today? They get to go to Knoxville.
It ended up in his teammates' hands, and Zarek Onyema kicks it outside. A bullet pass inside. Onyema gets spun around and still gets it to go.
The quick ball movement.
Johnson tracks it down in the corner. The 30-point effort against A&M was the best for a Texas freshman since Durant's final game as a Longhorn, and now he picks up an assist on the dunk by Shedrick. Minnesota being the other with 7 1,000-point career scores. Texas has 5. Here's Pope for 3. But Texas, as Pope knocks it down, is full of scoring on the right wing. Shedrick gathers in traffic, surrounded by Maroon. Shuffled now to Mark. Got it. Triple for Shedrick, and he gives it up. Solomon Washington didn't play much in the first half. Beautiful no-look pass and a flush by Shedrick. Solomon Johnson. Whoa, that was a shove. Solomon Washington goes all the way to the hardwood. A 3 and a whistle and a chance for 4. Tremont Munson back on a handoff. Here's Tremont Mark going baseline. Wow, tough shot.
Side cannot get the roll. It's been a tough go in the transfer year for Warwick. Number 4 in career scoring among active players is Arthur Kaluma. And it's to Pryor. Back into the hands of the freshman Johnson. Tough sledding for him. Baseline feed. Kaluma puts it in. Tied up at 38.
And it's a program that is built on working out first thing. So they got Thursday morning off, and there's a nice finish by Onyema. Came in, got some work done. Back at it. Meshack gets screened. Johnson goes right inside. Beautiful feed to Caden Shedrick.
Outstanding job by Johnson to really fight.
Here comes Johnson. Oh! Whipping the rim is Zarek Onyema.
Now that's
in.
Got to stop the ball if you're Texas defensively. You can't outscore the Tigers.
Kaluma for 3.
Big shot.
Pop.
Johnson.
Dumps it off, and Kaluma gets under the basket.
That's what you have to do against A&M. Get to the paint looking.
And Larry, two-time Missouri Valley Conference all-defensive team with Indiana State. Trey Johnson with the pass into the corner. What is that, the fourth corner three Texas has hit in this first half?
Yeah, that's something.
Corner of three-pointer. That's off the rim by Thomas. No good in the rebound, Texas. Kaluma to Johnson. Trey lobbing it in for Kendall Weaver for the two-handed flush.
Trey sees the whole floor. He sees it.
For Texas is Trey Johnson. Off to Kaluma to the left side. Now back out front to Johnson again. In the corner, Julian Larry a three. It's good. Well, Larry knocks down his first pass, was deflected, but Weaver got it back. Now to Johnson. Trey. Again to Kaluma. This time he'll shoot the three and connect.
Great job of Trey Johnson recognizing that. He knows where.
Bounce pass, loose on the floor. How about Kaluma scrambling in to pick up the loose change? Now Texas in transition. Johnson with the lob into Weaver. Weaver and Shedrick going up at the same time.
Arthur Kaluma averaging just over 14 points and 8 rebounds a game. Mark from up top. Buries the three. The assist to Trey Johnson. Assists. Buries the jumper to get his team within 3. Mark looks for his second 3. Yes! With so much anticipation with Harris 2 inches shorter covering it. Aggie still in his zone as we're under 6 minutes to go first half. Kaluma for 3. Got it. Quietly, he has hit
CN UCLA this year. Is no easy feat. So
could be showtime here. Kaluma!
De Yukon, el give and go entre Diarra Johnson. La esquina. Intentaba el triple de Pope y anotó. Triplazo de Pope. Marca. Johnson. Retrocede. Johnson, la finta. Corta la canasta. El pase en la pintura. Pinta. Tablero. Y doble, linda finta de Kaluma. Generado, quien consigue el rebote. Finalmente Rick Jr. Después de que fallaba Ball. Johnson arriba. Y la sembró Kaluma.
Necesitan apurarse los Longhorns.
Kaluma, triplazo. El pase de Johnson.
Zone right here.
Weaver missed a wide open Caden Shedrick a moment ago. Shedrick was calling for it. Meanwhile, from the outside is Pope and connects Texas's 6th three-pointer.
Somewhere, and he's the guy that can bring it.
Well, if you're Stan Waterman, you say, listen, they paid us to come here. We're giving them all they can handle here in the second half. But Onyema again with power.
Six-year head coach. Johnson slashing. Great find. Shedrick. So much. He was fouled.
Good defense.
Pope, he might have shuffled 2. And then Pope sticks it for 2. Man in zone.
You know, if you're running, you can still run your man-to-man offense against the zone. You just got to screen the high side of the zone.
Larry found himself with a little bit more daylight. Finishes over Lampkin.
But why?
Playing the 5 right now. Mark pushed all the way out to the half-court line by Freeman, who recovers. And then Pope strokes the jumper. Largest lead for Texas at 16.
He actually worked under Turgeon at Wichita State, A&M, and Maryland before he went to Boston College.
Yeah, we were reminiscing about those old Aggie Longhorn matchups earlier today together.
You'd like to see them start to get downhill a little bit, put a little more pressure on the rim. You don't want to settle too much for threes, although they're going in right now, and Weaver right on cue.
Pressure in the paint by Peyton Rogers. Kent got the tip, and Johnson will take the ball away. Weaver hands, off the Johnson assist. Now at 22-16, Texas lead. Kent from the corner. Yes, his second 3 of the night. 5 points so far in the first half. 29 Monday record for a Texas freshman in his debut. He drives, finds Kaluma.
Great job by the freshman.
Kaluma Kaluma gets the step inside Williams, doing the foul.
Great job. Great job by Kaluma.
That we're going to see across the board in college basketball, and the chance and opportunity for a program to reinvent the way that they play based off personnel every year.
Boy, good looking stroke from the corner. That's Julian Lelu tonight. Beachy Johnson, open three won't go. So an 8-point game. Boy, beautiful dime inside. It's Kaluma. Boy, the pretty look from the freshman Johnson.
Portal, like, let's find out right away who we are. Let's find out, are we as good as we think we are?
Shedrick coming with some heat.
Wow, that was impressive.
Too strong, rebound Weaver. 70 seconds. Boy, beautiful setup underneath. Shedrick off the feed from Johnson.
Milicic somehow finds Gainey. Still plenty of time. Gainey a miss. Meshack a rebound. Meshack. Shot clock at 6. Long jumper by Meshack, wide left.
Good defense by Texas State. Trey Johnson's got the basketball in his hands. He's making the right decision. Those are makeable shots he's getting.
Miles open for a moment. Too strong, Shedrick.
As much heat. Isolation.
Matthews brings the heat. Gives it up to Kugel. Too strong on the runner on that department back in the day. Corralled it like a strong safety. Off the screen.
Basketball, you've got to prevent, though, from that orange ball going inside of that orange rim.
You just saw Trey Johnson as this one gets scooped up and in somehow by Top. Lead at 23 for Georgia. Kane got a little separation. Odiema got a piece of it. The Horns. Yep. Well, Joe, we thank you so much. We know your time is precious. You're the hardest working guy around. Thank you very much for joining us.
That happens. Brazil has the flash high right there, so you can get a high-low what they do. There's no way he's supposed to have to come out of the paint.
Wagner for 3. Huge three for DJ Wagner. He's hitting. Noah getting huge minutes.
Noah found himself open, and he gets a friendly roll. Boy, he's got a nice touch.
Well, he's got a nice, and Pope just ran into a pretty well-defended three-point shot. It's offensive. Yes, it was on Carr. That feats confidence to all of his teammates.
There he knocks down a 3. Stevenson had Sears in the corner. He was waving his hands. He didn't get it to him. Philon into the paint. He was guarded hard by his former teammate, and Stevenson went to the... There's a 3 for an iron, and
picking up 2s to close this thing out on.
Philon gets the handoff. Amori rolls. He throws it up. There's Amori with an offensive rebound. And wrapped up Johnson that time and got away with it. And a floater. Boy, soft touch for Aiden Holloway.
Like the shots that Texas is getting out of their offense. They did not do that well early in the game Wednesday night. Another and one. I'll take that kind of look after you've probed and executed on the half court.
Remember, Texas led this game 7-0, and then Vanderbilt
is there, and then it'll rotate around.
Nickel leads it off to Collins. Off a curl, back iron on a 3.
An ignorant question coming your way, but is it possible that Arkansas is a better team without Boogie Fland? I know they're not as talented, obviously, with a top pick. 3.5 to play. Wagner behind Ivica. Here's Knox. Ivica's got a mouse in the house down there. Ellie Davis for 3. He rattles it home.
For Texas today, they are plus 21 in three-point differential.
Line a lot. Here's Mitchell on Shedrick. 5 on the shot clock. In the corner, 3, no good by Tamar Bates.
Condon trying to go high-low. That's covered. Ends up with Martin for 3.
Tommy make a mistake again. And his trade.
Clayton, shot clock at 5. Working on the freshman. Got him in the air and got the whistle. Just simply got Trey Johnson off balance. It was a great lesson learned and a great opportunity. Shot clock at 1. A forced heave. Can't find the rim. It's a second shot clock violation.
That gave him his second, as Dane mentioned. There's an offensive rebound for Solomon Washington and A&M. They pull down 45% of their own misses. That allows
up top to JT Warren, who had just checked in. Back over to Patterson, spinning against Trey Johnson. Goes around him and scores. And a timeout. Rodney Terry didn't like what he seen.
Walkthrough today, and Kaluma's scouting report was he was going to shot fake it and drive it right. So coach a little bit upset with his team on that one.
Deontay trying to stick with Smith. Walks in, hands it off. Martez Robinson over Johnson.
Nice.
Gets it to fall.
Yeah, and
for St. Joseph, nearly carried it. He did not score yesterday, but Brown had 20, Reynolds 26. Fleming had 14. Ajabor's tap out. 9 of his 10 in the second half. Kendall Weaver. Here's Bell, a 3, no. Rebound down to Jordan Pope.
Shows his speed.
Sunderland in traffic forces it.
Up quicker than 2.
5 seconds for Dawkins. 2 crossovers. Pulls up for 3. Well short. Trey Johnson, the defense to
It isn't all or nothing in the first game. It's about learning and adapting.
Sean Stewart, the Duke transfer, has checked into the game for Ohio State.
Complement of scholarship players, and 3 of those 5 are in this tournament.
Yeah, Ken had a wrist injury. What did he miss? 8?
Yeah. Jordan Gainey.
Fantastic finish by Shedrick.
Now 6 for Shedrick. Second assist of the day for Johnson. Gainey. A 3. Shedrick playing very well for the Horns.
Well, right now, Texas needs a stop.
Gainey again.
They are targeting Trey Johnson. Keep him off the board.
Carey in the game right now. McLaughlin on the bench. Nickel on the baseline. Hangs and hits. And Tyler Nickel is on the board now for the
having offensive rebounds like they did in the first game. It's just been a struggle all game long to score.
Nickel gets inside. He's having more success in the paint than beyond the arc.
Trey Johnson. What was that about his passing ability we saw in the draft stock and the grades? Hubbard, the field goal.
They're the best team. Well, they'll be able to prove it. They lost to Cameron Indoor. I think the Blue Devils and the Tigers end up seeing each other again.
Really? I like that. Dakota LeFew.
Johnson, you know, he's leading freshman.
And it's March 1st. LeFew was denied, and then it belongs to Texas.
Jimmy, Nate Oates arrived in 2019. Alabama's 71 SEC wins, or most since that time. And again, the brand.
Johnson with a clean look.
He has got as silky smooth a stroke as anybody in college basketball.
Carter on the back cut, covered up. Here's Obaseki. And he tries to get through traffic, and he banked it in. Finishes with the flex.
Got to get physical. These are some good offensive guards, but defensively they must be better.
Little floater good. Zurich Phelps.
The defense has been really good by both teams in this basketball game.
Grill with a cut to the hoop. Mitchell found him, and he's fouled by Johnson. What vision, what execute.
There have only been 5 freshmen in the history of the SEC to lead the league in scoring. Martin off the mark. Most recently, Brandon Miller of Alabama. It's getting high. They've turned it over on 21% of their possessions. Richard left wide open behind the Houck screen. Houck is such a component. Shot clock's at 7. Chaz Lanier leading the league in scoring, nearly 20 a game. Here's Jemai Meshack in the paint. Got caught underneath the rim. And Tennessee will have 1 point. Rodney Terry pointed out that when, and that's a follow jam by Cade Phillips looking.
That's 6 of them already. Auburn does with a victory tonight. That'd be 7. Baker Mazzara misses that 3. Dramon Mark with the rebound. 9 fast break points. Texas, none. Here is Chad Baker Mazzara, knocks it down. You talk about the mid-range.
Arthur, they missed a few games, so they're still figuring out their chemistry.
6 points now for Johnson, who averages 19. Baker Mazzara for 3.
That they wanted to play on their own terms. I don't think they're playing on their own terms right now. I think this is an Auburn-type game.
Johnson knocks it away from
play 15 to 20 minutes where they can go to other schools and play 30 minutes. He said, number one, they know they're going to win. Number two is Ja'Kai Howard makes that easy flow.
Second in the SEC, allowing only 62 a game. Mark on the run, reverses, and he got a foul. And Tramon Mark will be at the free throw line. He told me today that
up top to Gerald Colonel. Swinging around the horn, Jumawan inside the arc, can't get the shot to go. Rebound. There's the rebound. 16-14 to go. And inbounded. It's kind of slicing through Travis Patterson, but he missed the runner, and the rebound cleared for Texas.
Hard to rebound out of it, so Texas did a good job hitting that offensive glass.
It is a 17-2 run. Cook was hot early, well off from 3.
You think of Link Academy as your freshman year. And when you come to Austin, this is going to be your rookie year in the NBA. There's the first bucket for State by Marcus Hill. Picks up his dribble, 10, goes, Taylor, down 2, downhill, pump fake, no whistle, doesn't get the shot off cleanly, and Texas is going to
give them at the same time.
Nature of the college game these days for both of these squads as well, brand new ball clubs. And the miss, Manir Newton, meanwhile, goes down. Creighton reached the Elite Eight a couple of years ago. A lot of experience on this Texas team. Watson driving and denied by Watson. Shedrick comes down with the board and the shot clock. Texas has held Delaware State to 25% from the field, but there's Watson getting a good look up close. 8 seconds. 5 who've already earned undergrad degrees.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I would have got an undergrad degree and then been able to play a little bit more.
Shedrick, we do expect to see Tramon Mark as well make his season debut for Texas tonight. Here's Bell for 3. That's short and rebounded by Shedrick.
Yeah, Chris Bell.
An elbow to the back of the head or something, but he is still in there. But he is in some discomfort right now as Ziegler is fouled. Backs it out to Ziegler. 6 assists already today for Zakai Ziegler. And a bump there by Johnson.
Ziegler was going to get a Meshack screen.
Got it again. And it's out to Phelps with 10 on the shot clock. Phelps a drive, scoops it up and in.
Boy, Texas just gave up great size.
Edwards, the pull-up almost from behind the backboard. It won't go. Manion on the drive. And scores. Boy, there was a lot of traffic down there, but he found a...
Moore with 2 on the timer. Jalen Moore. Tough shot in traffic. 2.5 second differential between shot clock and game clock. Kugel rejected out of bounds. And a foul was... 15-point margin for Georgia. Demery around the corner to the cup. Got hammered by Kaluma, and will shoot 2 more.
It's in Texas for the renewal of one of college sports' all-time rivalries. 226 meeting between Texas and A&M. Tom Hardaway. Here's Phelps, second in the SEC in scoring in conference games behind Mark Sears of Bama, and Phelps gets his first.
That's...
Chad Mazzara. 6 minutes to go. Baker Mazzara lays it in.
So Zurich Phelps will handle the point guard duties, and they move Wade Taylor, the 4th off ball. Phelps takes it all the way to the rack. And one coming. Another miss at the rim before Hefner cleans it up. Aiden Hefner has a couple of buckets. They both come right at the rim so far today. Block on Taylor. Trailing by 8. Here's Tramon Mark. Lost it on his way in. And it will go right back to Texas. Mark was certain he would.
Finta Caravan. El pase afuera. Diarra penetra. Se acaba el tiempo. Lanza. El jumper desde la personal en el aro. ¿Quién va por el rebote?
Posting. Got to shoot it off. Shot clock at 5. Taylor needs to shoot it. Fade away over the freshman. And it's a loose ball that goes out of bounds.
Understand how to execute when it matters the most down the stretch because of experience. And that is now what Kentucky basketball is.
Donnie Freeman muscling his way to the bucket. The freshman. Another pass totally telegraphed by Bell. Starling collects it. Starling slashes. Rejected by Shedrick, and then Davis takes a hard.
Tate on Johnson with help from Kaluma. Got the block on his way down. Texas the break the other way. Was 0 for 2 from the floor in that first half. He's knocked down his first 2 field goals, including the triple here in the start of the second half. That one too strong. Falls in the lap of Kaluma. Gone here in the second half. Trey Johnson, Caden Shedrick have helped create some separation. As 10:55 to go.
Now there's the double team. That's a good read out of it. Matthews on the offensive. Great look to Kugel. And a late whistle. The foul is... Butler grabs the entry pass. Davis, a nice pump fake.
That's where Davis is most effective. He's a catch, shoot.
Now, they've got to be cleaned up. The freedom of movement has got to be focused on that part of the game.
Herring, oh boy, did he hit the ground hard. You talk about contact.
Threes today. You know, they use him as a 6th man. The guys were asking how he feels about that. He brought up a great point. The fact that...
Hounded by Pope. Garcia got free. Coleman shuffles it to Hefner. First bucket for Hayden Hoos of the evening.
Mitchell. Baseline feed. And that's going to be Tamar Bates going to the line.
46-22 is the score. And Northwestern State with the basketball inside, but Addison Patterson missed the shot there.
De cualquier deporte para competir y tratar de llegar al Final Four.
Qué bien que cortó.
5 rebotes. Mark Draymond, una asistencia.
El pase en la pintura, diría Viduega, canasta segura.
Mayor cantidad, la mayor ventaja, de Connecticut contra un rival de diferente conferencia al medio tiempo desde 1999.
Tough finish for Caden Shedrick in the double figures. Fleming, Haskins couldn't convert it. Rebound Shedrick.
More of a quarter court defense.
Davis and the Lampkin got free and scored it, plus a foul. The Orange back.
Looking for Peyton Rogers. Kent got the tip, and Johnson will take the ball away.
Under 4 to go. He's been great today. Phillips knocked away by Johnson. Well read by Trey Johnson. Looking for the lead. Taylor, no. Long rebound to Coleman.
Yet another offensive rebound for Coleman.
A block by Weaver.
But he just caught it. What a play.
Moody Center in Austin, Texas for the renewal of one of college sports' all-time rivalries. 226 meeting between Texas and A&M. Tom Hart alongside Dane. Excellent team on both ends of the floor. But it was interesting how one shot, a Trey Johnson 3, and he gets the rejection here, that could have given Texas huge momentum, went in and out. Lanier guarded by Larry. Let's see if they get him a touch. Ziegler downhill. Rejected by Trey Johnson.
Johnson with the block on Taylor. Trailing by 8. Here's Tremont Mark. Lost it on his way in. And it will go right back to Texas. Mark was certain he was fouled. Johnson with the block. The second in the SEC, allowing only 62 a game. Mark on the run. Reverses, and he got a foul. And Tremont Mark will be at the free throw line. He told me today the best part of our team.
For Kansas State, he helped Creighton reach the Elite 8 a couple of years ago. A lot of experience on this Texas team. Watson driving and denied by Watson. Shedrick comes down with the board. Look at Trey Johnson.
Shot clock at 8. Richie Johnson sets the table for Parrish. Shot clock at 2. Look at Johnson. Clean strip.
There, he's got more time to keep him on the bench, but I wouldn't make that move until the under 4 timeout at least.
A steal by Trey Johnson.
That's similar to the decision that
Taylor with a pass on the wing. Phelps misses the 3. Coleman the offensive rebound, but he lost it. Shedrick.
Here's Fears trying to crack the scoring column against Johnson.
Great defense.
Johnson a
Great
steal. Advantage there for Trey Johnson and the 2 lottery picks. Missed the dunk on the alley for 2 teams on the bubble. OU on the right side, Texas with work to do. A steal by Johnson.
Back to him.
Rim protection, probably not quite as good defensively, but no question they are a much significant improved team offensively.
Turnover by Hubbard. Here comes Johnson. And Trey Johnson
started. So if you're the Longhorns, you've got to do a much better job of taking care of the basketball.
Georgia needs to as well. Surreal threw it away looking for Abson. 10 combined turnovers, only
Brazil that time. Ravi, thank you. We welcome those of you who watched Auburn. Absolutely.
Mikan right there. Spinning it up off the glass. Great job of knowing where he was.
Shout out, George. Adu has it stolen away. Great hands by Trey Johnson. He wants a touch.
Can't get it to go. Away. That ball knocked away by Kent. Here's Johnson with a pick. Perry back. Johnson a
Shedrick, I'm sorry, to finish that, Shedrick also has some back spasms from the game the other day.
That pass was right off the back of Johnson. Now Johnson attacking on the...
Here's Nelly Davis off the screen. Left his feet and turned it over. Trey Johnson leading the break. Tough angle. Of his last name, and that's hard for all of us. But also being able to finish at the rim. Now that was basic, that last one, but he's gotten a lot of work in. 2 on 3. Johnson takes it.
Did it once, and Arkansas did it against Georgia.
And shorthanded Tennessee won big today at Florida. Perhaps, Mike, they'll make the fifth.
Prowess especially by the freshman phenom Trey Johnson. That was a pretty shot. Now Johnson leading the break on the other end, behind the back through the
pack, and he blows the jam. Picked up by Brakefield. Ole Miss with the numbers. Klafke turns it over, intercepted by Johnson.
Ball marks like man should have stayed.
Godwin controls the rebound. And Fears turns it over. Try the cross-court pass. Johnson.
Tell you you're supposed to give up those kind of off-the-bounce shots like that.
And a turnover. Here comes Johnson. And the Horns jump out to 10 to shoot. Miles lost the dribble. Trey Johnson a steal.
This is what Duke.
73-68. And now Fears the other way. A jump ball with the arrow pointing in favor of Texas.
Field is Pope, rejected by Broome. His second. And Kelly lost it. Pope back the other way.
Own terms. I don't think they're playing on their own terms right now. I think this is an Auburn-type game.
Johnson knocks it away from Baker Mazzara. Mark driving and rejecting.
Stop, come down, and try to score on the other end.
15-5 run by the Longhorns. Trying to complete this comeback of 21. They get a steal. Here's the Pope for 3. It's short. Block.
With the ball on this end. Now Texas sees one goes through the hoop there on that corner 3.
And Taylor turns it over. 2-on-1 for Texas. Trey Johnson floater. Good. And
go into the pit and knock off New Mexico, who have beat both USC and UCLA this year, is no easy feat. So
could be showtime here. Kaluma.
Irving Jr. es uno de los 2 transferidos de esta temporada, titular con los Huskies. Jugaba para los Wolverines de Michigan las 2 temporadas anteriores. Este es su tercer año muchacho centro de Chabot, Donqueo, como le quieran llamar, y tratando de inyectarle un poco de energía a un equipo que se ve completamente desinflado en su estadio, y aquí roban el balón.
Viene robando y la siembra.
Desde afuera rumbo a la canasta rival.
Izquierda. Penetrando, aquí la roba espectacularmente Johnson. Gran
make and create for others as well.
Well, Julian Larry just came in the game for Texas and promptly turned it over. And Delaware State returns the favor. Johnson, Texas with numbers, give and go. Trey Johnson
gets it to him. Lampkin with a quick double team. Kaluma's there. Skips it to Bell, who's missed his first two. On the deck, Bell is stripped. Shedrick with a takeaway after a couple of early baskets.
Got away with the pull and the hammer. You got offensive end. The more he can gobble up rebounds, that's only going to increase the thought of him becoming a pro.
Davis stripped away. Syracuse going very small right now with Davis and Freeman, the bigs.
I think the Delta Devils like the sight lines here inside Moody. They get another turnover. Weaver trying to win it back, and he does. It's 4-on-1 Texas, and Johnson still can't buy a bucket. He'll have it.
Looking for Peyton Rogers. Kent got the tip, and Johnson will take the ball away. Weaver, hands,
It's about learning and adapting.
Sean Stewart, the Duke transfer, has checked into the game for Ohio State. Buckeyes turn it over. Johnson in the transition with a flip.
And you survive by it and you die by it. 9 for 14, 10 of 27. Grant said it, 9 of their 10 field goals are threes.
Clean strip, and then Johnson has his pocket picked.
Well, you go under on Justin Gainey or Jordan Gainey. He's going to pull the trigger on that.
Wide open Meshack. Misses the three. And the weak side rebound to Mark. Obaseki. Off the back of the iron. And we've got a... Ooh. What a pass by Hogard to Tanner. Hogard gets it right back. And Kent down with a rebound. Vandy Kent.
27 points. And for OU, no Sam Godwin tonight. Sounds like he will be available next week in Nashville, led by Fears, and a three by Bryson Goodine.
He could stretch a defense from the three-point line as well.
Fears too strong. Goodine gets it back. Taylor, his second three. Moore against Shedrick. Outside to Miles. Deep three on the way. The Horns get a stop.
It's new. Meaning you keep them behind you so that they're not able to get involved in the play. That's danger.
First shot for Hubbard is off the ball. Joe!
That's where Texas would double him. Just like that.
Matthews over to Kugel. An open look from distance. No.
Matthews, 3 in games, it's a completely different deal. And when your players miss practice, it's doubly difficult to find any kind of rhythm.
Allen Iverson's. And here's Hubbard. Tried to answer right back. Kugel. Outside to Melendez.
Most of the day, as we look at every one of our programs, I have those discussions at the end of the year. Blue Kane can't knock down the triple. Tipped around.
5 to shoot. Conyers a deep three.
Kind of taking their time right now, executing, getting the ball right where they want it.
Ugasuk from downtown, his first bucket. His career. Right. And pops out.
Finished off. Sears goes into the lane and kicks it. Phylon will fire. That's good. Boy, they are red hot right now from 3. And
like he's not missing bad, and they're coming off of there like bullets.
Yeah, those long rebounds generally happen for him, but there's a 3, and you can't leave any of them open. And another one.
This is Hogard. Finds a shooter and an open 3. Splashed by Tyler Nickel. Nickel for 3. Left it short. Tapped and kept alive by Carey. Hogard finally knocks it down. He was over.
Carter. Drive and kick, sets up a wide open 3. Short, but an offensive rebound. Fresh 20 seconds on the...
Up from 2 and from the free throw line, and play the percentages. A&M 6 of 11 from deep right now.
Wiltshire buries it. He had Trey Johnson in his face.
An elite three-point shooting team, one of the best in program history, and they do not turn the ball over much. Bates, no good from 3.
And it's in transition, slowing it down and making them work on both ends of the floor is the way to beat it.
Tighter defense now on Grill. I was about to say, are you...
In an SEC battle between Texas and OU. Taylor on cue. Pope, former teammate, clears the rebound. Jordan Pope with 16. Taylor left open. Forsythe was bumped and a foul's gonna...
Ziegler lost his man, dumps it off. Meshack gives it back out. Another late shot clock possession. And it rolls in for Igor Milicic Jr. Ziegler into the corner. Milicic. Here's Ziegler again. That is a rare shot as Ziegler throws it in. Tennessee. Here's Lanier running off the baseline screen. Back to Ziegler. And Ziegler rattles one home. Just 29% from...
Valuable and important player.
They get it in the broom. Kelly, good from 3.
Wow.
To go up in your day and flush that down?
I've been known to climb the ladder once or twice in my career.
There you go. Bostic well off. Filipovic drives this time. Too hard. Offensive rebound by Emmanuel Chimanga. Filipovic misses that 3. Three-pointer by New Mexico that sent the game to overtime yet. Aggies hung in there, and behind Christian Cook and Robert Carpenter's 47 points, they knocked off the Lobos.
Se voltea. Ahora con Caravan. De nuevo afuera. Intento de triple. En el aro. El rebote consigue Caravan. Otra vez con Diarra. 6, 5. Se acaba el tiempo. Pase afuera. Caravan en el aro. Rebote la cortina Caravan que sale de la misma. Otra vez a la esquina. Intentando el doble largo. Termina fallando.
Got a terrific young freshman. Both are going to be in the NBA draft.
17 in the McDonald's All-American game. Corner 3 is good for Marcus.
Threes. All those good shots, though. Those shots fall, I promise you, because it's extra passes and it's not people trying to create for themselves.
We'll say this, Rodney Terry, when we asked...
Oh, they're going to try to take Onyema again. Ajibor did the wise thing. Just get it out of Onyema's zip code. Brown.
Carlos, the Hofstra transfer, still trying to find his rhythm.
Opposite. It's Bell. Another good look from Lampkin. Bell misses a 3. It's Syracuse, which has struck out to Starling. J.J. Starling off that 38-point game in a double overtime win over Youngstown State. Sets up a missed 3 badly by Carlos.
News National Coach of the Year. Just under 2 minutes in, and an early 7-0 Texas lead, leading to the early Chicago State timeout.
Terry's timeout huddle. What did you hear?
Yes, coach is telling his guys, get some paint shots, make some threes, take this one possession at a time. He said to go out there and execute.
Prevents basketball city that he built up in Toronto. This is Meechie Johnson, lets it fly. Offensive rebound. Ohio State has missed 11 straight shots. Thornton may have traveled, gets it out to the corner. Big 3. Micah Pack. Johnson accelerates. This is Parrish. They don't score, but they used a lot.
Meshack back to Gainey. Got his man in the air, to say the least. Left it short, but he's fouled on the shot attempt. Meshack finds a lane and lays it in. Okpara helping to screen off. And you have Tremont Mark guarding Lanier. Ziegler lays it in. Welcome back, Zakai Ziegler. You will see, if you haven't seen a lot of Trey Johnson, he can take and make extremely tough shots. Magnon got bodied there by Johnson, and he'll head to the line.
It can be too much to overcome.
They swing it to Collins. snaking his way inside. Johnson got a piece of it. You better go strong. It's 2 for 5 points so far. Guarded by Weaver, a tremendous defender. Shot clock's at 4. Collins got to make a play, and he can't. One of a little Spain action, a back screen for the screener's defender. Mannion is fouled.
Again, the second. Those 2 fouls.
That was a forced shot right there.
Goodine. Too strong. Game to do it in. 1 to shoot. Duke Miles saw it late. Nearly got the 3 to go. The rebound.
In this league, in this season, Texas tried to show a little zone, but then went man to man.
Jones off the mark. A 1-point game. Mark. Melendez has it, a minute to play. Lays it in. 82 to 70.
Back in the game in Austin. Davis looking for Ivisic. Big screen, and Davis got free.
Beautiful read by Johnny.
Just clearing space out. It is a battle on the block.
Yes, it is, and he has to have those L's up. I can't believe the officials let him get away with that one.
Shedrick wins this battle.
And Terry puts his head down, shrugging on the sideline. Perry launches a high arcing 3 and finds the bottom, and you can't. Carr decides to drive into the paint, lays it up and in, and points in the paint because Diabate will not take the 3. They get 5 on the shot clock. Stevenson banged twice, throws it up.
Wow.
Oh, is he having a game, Jaron Stevenson?
Well, it's the best half of basketball.
Bates! Get some! Catch him. Bates the turnaround, rolls out, Grill offensive board. Seconds left, an 8-point lead for the Longhorns. Bates will try to drive on Johnson, and he gets the lay-in. 18 points.
Aberdeen can't quite turn the corner. Shot clock at 8. Sam Alexis puts it on the floor. His push shot is good.
Yeah, Texas just didn't get rematched. They switched up.
Of spark.
And if they're not scoring in transition, they're struggling on the half court.
Here's Taylor. He'll find a way to get inside.
Now that time he took advantage of the...
Taylor tried to spin it in with the left hand. And for Texas, their first 3-pointer of the second half. Jordan Pope with 25. And Taylor was fouled by Trey Johnson.
Elevate his game, but he'll certainly be a lottery pick. Here's Gainey giving it up. Now Meshack downhill. And it fell off the rim, but Milicic cleans it up. And then
here tonight against the number 2 team in the nation.
Auburn so far perfect from 3-point land. Broom drives, lays it in off the glass.
Tough. That's
inside to Chaney Johnson. Johnson double team, gets it back out to Pettiford. Tries off the glass, count the bucket, it's good.
Plethora of weapons.
Baker Mazar with the air ball. Cardwell, offensive board. Kelly, high off the glass, no. Cardwell's there again.
Yeah, take your pick. Turned out to be Weaver. 30-point lead, the largest of the ballgame for Texas, and then a slam dunk put in by Patterson. And Patterson
out of the 16. Yeah, I mean, I think there's probably going to be a couple of under 500 teams that make it, out of the SEC. So, and they'll do.
Offensive board for NC State. Here's Taylor. Working towards Middlebrooks, gave him a screen. It's rejected at the rim by Shedrick. NC State thought it was
5.5 to go in the first half. And Texas never lost to a non-conference team here at the Moody Center. And in good shape right now. And this one
don't want to be in.
Texas now in a scoring drought of nearly 3 minutes. Working in the paint is Watson. Shedrick battling. There were a couple of defenders.
Field goal. And when that field goal went down, it gave St. Joseph's the lead. Haskins, long steps through, and he gets mauled. Donnie Freeman gets it to him. Lampkin with a quick double team. Galum is there. Skips it to Bell, who's missed his first 2. On the deck, Bell is stripped. Shedrick with it. Right personnel after an up and down full year 1 for Rodney Terry.
There you go.
Makes it 3. First 2-point try of the game, and Onyema was there to go straight up and take it.
Student here at Texas in his old stomping grounds. Sanders will kiss off the glass, couldn't find the angle. Kaluma with
the arc this year. Spinelli pulls up. Cougars still off the board.
At 8, Meechie Johnson sets the table for Parrish. Shot clock at 2. Look at Johnson, clean strip. This is Parrish, and he is fouled on a 3-point shot. Thornton gets it out to Parrish. Slices into the paint, then he missed the layup. Boy, but the putback is.
Ziegler crossing over on Johnson, and it's over to.
I think that Tennessee can get some slips after these screens.
Gainey blocked by Kaluma. Here comes Phillips, has played 9 minutes. He's got 5 rebounds. Ziegler driving, finishing again.
Yeah, they go right at Trey Johnson again.
The lefty puts up the 3.
He got the wide open 3 as a result.
So 5 early points for Johnson in this game. Terrific rebound there by Kaluma.
And even Johnson, and he proved you right yet again. What a find.
His 3rd assist of the game. He draws so much attention. Teammates inevitably will get us on Taylor. So Rodney Terry taking a calculated risk. He wants his best perimeter defender on Taylor, even though he's got 4 fouls. Pullman the follow to tie it.
1 possession game for 2 teams on the bubble. OU on the right side, Texas with work to do. A steal by Johnson.
Transition.
Jason Kent doing a nice job trying to fight with Asa Newell inside.
Offensive round, and Georgia can push. Demery off the Newell screen. Sticks another 3.
Hey.
And a good challenge at the rim by Brazil that time.
Keep going under the screen on DJ.
Yep, only 20% from deep in conference play. Johnson trailing him now, and he fouled him. It's a bad scouting report.
Backwards about 6 inches without even knowing it. Inside and a finish by Zachary Davis.
That's what Davis
were able to beat Don Staley in South Carolina.
Yeah, Vic Schaefer's team is good enough to win it all. And Madison Booker, that sophomore do-everything guard is.
Oh, how about this? Mano a mano with Johnson. Edwards feeling it. Edwards blows by. Left hand. No. Tap in. Yes. Carey.
Just remind you a little bit of that A&M game where you have a team that can go on scoring droughts. You just got to stick with it.
Wagner pinned by Shedrick. He had blown right by
chest inside. A bigger guy. Collins inside.
Oh, great shot right in the face of Johnson that time to go.
Hayden Hefner the rebound.
Well, so far, good defense by Texas as A&M pushes up the court. They want to keep the Aggies out of the paint, make them take tough twos. From the key to your game plan was finish possessions, make them be one and done, and you come up short.
Obaseki able to slice down the lane. A dozen in the first.
Making sure this league in particular is prepared for NCAA tournament officiating.
There's Manny Obaseki, tried to dance with it, and then they get Trey Johnson. Been 3.5 minutes since the Aggies have made a field goal. Zurich Phelps finding some space, left it short. Hayden Hefner fought for the rebound. Shot clock at 9.
Got to finish possession. You can force a tough two. Can you finish the possession defensively?
Phelps on Johnson. They're going to from the Taylor screen. One-on-one. Phelps working on Johnson. Lost his footing. Another hook. And a follow tip from Coleman. Wrong side of the floor. 10 on the shot clock. Phelps rebounded by Tramon Mark.
Yeah, they never got the switch.
25, their leading scorer and rebounder. Here's Tamar Bates. Bates with the drive and the strong finish. That's the man that usually the Tigers originally signed with the Longhorns to play for Shaka Smart when he left for Marquette. He was able to get out of his letter of 10 and play 2 seasons. Warwick fighting his way inside, cannot get the roll. It's been a tough go.
Will catch their breath. Elijah Martin with the bigs again in a Florida line. Martin with the hesitation. And the end result is a whistle and one.
Taylor. 10 to shoot. Miles lost the dribble. Trey Johnson.
What a matchup.
73-68. And now Fears the other way. A jump.
Meshack working on the freshman. Got a screen, got free. Akpara turn it around the other way. Here's Texas. 21, but great effort to get back into that game. And they're hosting number 2 and then number 1 in back-to-back games. Igor Milicic, Lanier, guarded by Larry. Let's see if they get him a touch. Ziegler downhill, rejected by Trey Johnson. Founded by Larry. Shot clock at 4. Ziegler can't shake Johnson. Got a step on him and laid it in. 5-point Tennessee.
And it is the Texas Longhorns making their SEC home opener against the number 2 team in the country, the Auburn Tigers. 6-3 is our 8 blocks here for Auburn. Zara misses.
He's got a half dozen. A&M extends the lead to 7. And a steal by Phelps. 2-hand slam. It's a 9-point.
Against Christian Cook, Robert Carpenter, both seniors averaging 13 a game, but Deontay Bostic season high 17 in the big win for New Mexico State Saturday at the Pit over New Mexico. Top 61 of the net, which is the main ranking the NCAA uses. South Carolina is 94. Jaden Harris gets his first points from beyond the arc. Harris wound up being a nice miss because Carpenter was there.
Ya tienen 13 puntos, 6 de 11. Pero su equipo pierde. Parece haber recuperado su nivel después de la victoria con lo justo ante México.
Louisville 5th in the ACC in scoring, and they'll share some time at the 5 spot with Middlebrooks, who checks back in. With 3 on the shot clock. Parker off the front of the rim. Middlebrooks keeps it up. Taylor splits them, and NC State is in front for the first time. O'Connell had a rare turnover in the first half. He averages 1 turnover every 50 minutes. Taylor, no. Roll. Shot clock at 5. Here's pass. Goes shake. Off balance. Bodies on the floor, and the rebound comes down.
Go in the first half in Austin. Here's Kasim Watson trying to find some space. Delaware State just ice cold, but they do get the off. Look at Martez Robinson. Did a nice job working his way down low, but couldn't get it to.
He just has a great disposition and an extreme competitor as well.
Johnson got a little burn there. Nice drive by Simpson. Brown around a Solano screen. Short on a 3-point try. Fleming flies in. Kaluma Solano keeps it alive. It'll be a 4-shot possession potentially. Brown on the drive, and he is fouled.
I tell you, second game back of the season, there's no doubt he's going to find his rhythm.
Simpson got bumped by Johnson. Kaluma goes up.
Boy, that shot. 2 8-footers he's missed.
Jalen Forrest drives and scores. Former Georgia.
Assert your dominance right here on the inside. We've come out and shot a few open threes, and you like to see them get the ball inside with an offensive rebound.
Brooks to the rim, lays it in. Now it's Johnson guarding Dawkins. Drives, got the step, lost to going up with a foul. For Bryson Dawkins. Brooks gets to the rim this time and scores. First points for HCU this half.
Out offense, 5 guys on the perimeter. A little mid-range shot coming around the screen for minutes.
Well, you live by the 3 and you survive by it and you die by it. 9 for 14, 10 of 27. Grant said it, 9 of their 10 field goals are threes.